Hey everyone, I'm Ben.
I'm Caryan.
And I'm Adam.
And welcome to the inaugural SnatchyBuckles podcast.
I thought you were going to say annoying.
The most annoying SnatchyBuckles podcast. This is a different podcast than what it would normally be. We are doing a reactionary podcast, reacting to Avengers Infinity War. So if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War yet, definitely go away. We wouldn't normally say that. Yeah, definitely.
Come with the VOD, or download it.
Yeah, we're going to have the VOD available on Twitch. You'll be able to find us on YouTube. And the audio version will be available on various podcasting services. The first podcast, so we don't have it up somewhere that you can link to yet, because you kind of need one episode to actually set that all up. But yes, definitely come back. We're going to be going through the movie beat by beat, giving all our opinions. We saw it at midnight last night. We've had time to digest. But yeah, so this is our reactionary podcast for Avengers Infinity War. You can see, I think I've put it's kind of see-through, but it is up here, and it's in the title on Twitch, so please don't come in and worry about that. Tiny bit of housekeeping is that it's a bit different than our normal Twitch streams. We're not going to be checking chat throughout the stream. I'll kind of glance at it every so often to make sure it's not out of control. But we will have a section later on where I think Caryan's going to be going through chat. I think she's going to be prioritizing the Buccaneer chat.
Yes.
So that's
our loyal subscribers.
So if you are a subscriber already, you can go into the Buccaneer chat room on Twitch, make use of that. You can kind of any topics of discussion or questions or anything like that about the movie. And they will be checked first. If you have a question that you really want to kind of push to the front, you can use kind of cheer bits or donations. Obviously, all that sort of stuff just goes to support us, support the podcast, and other stuff like that. But yeah, this is going to be available, as I said before, on various different podcasting services after the fact. It'll probably be on Saturday, because I think we've got to wait a 48-hour window. If you are listening to this or watching this on YouTube, be sure to head on over to twitch.tv/SnatchyBuckles, because then you can click follow and get notifications when we're going live in future with future podcasts and other stuff like that. But yeah, so I think that's housekeeping out of the way. What did everyone think of Infinity War, and how is everyone today?
I'm good today.
You're good today?
I'm a bit tired. That 3 o'clock bedtime is catching up on us a little bit. But yeah, I'm good. First of all, I enjoyed the film.
I also enjoyed the film.
I know that goes without
saying. A cat. For anyone that isn't watching the video version or with us on Twitch right now, there is a cat
clawing our way up my leg right now. I tried to keep that quiet.
There is. To any new audio listeners, you will hear cats in the background every so often, probably attacking and dragging their way up us.
Yeah. I liked it. Yes. I have a lot to say, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll keep the first few minutes of this somewhat spoiler-free, just for anyone who jumps in and then realizes. But sadly, hopefully you'll see that it says spoilers in the beginning of the title. I apologize if you jump in halfway through and you have something spoiled for you, but it does say spoilers.
I don't think there's any way you can talk about the movie and not have spoilers.
There's literally not.
No, it's unless you said who was in it. That's about it.
Yeah,
that's the furthest you can go. Who was in it and some of the places they go.
Even some of the stuff. We'll get to this, but there's certain actors that are doing the full press tour, whose characters aren't in the movie very much, and I was surprised by that. So did we all enjoyed it? First off, did you enjoy that?
I would possibly go as far as say it's maybe the best Marvel movie that I enjoyed.
I didn't see where that was going. I thought you were going to go. I didn't.
I thought it was going controversial.
I hated it. It's terrible. Justice League all the way.
Get out.
It needs to be dark and gritty. I mean, but it was though. Actually, this was like
the most intense of the films.
It was kind of like
that's including Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That was a very serious film.
It was. That was like a spy movie.
So was First Avenger as well.
First Avenger did have some gritty bits to it. I mean, it was Nazis.
Serious Steve.
But no, this I hadn't thought of it in that way, but this is kind of what DC have probably tried to do all along, try to make a really dark and gritty movie. This is it when it's done right.
I'd love to think Marvel changed the theme so they could be like, see, we can do it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Marvel
went, right, you've tried to do dark and gritty just off the bat. This is how you do it properly with all the setup. You can't just go,
that's
here's
cute.
a team movie. Here's the pinnacle of all team movies.
We did Batman, who everyone knew, and then we did Superman, who everyone knew, and Wonder Woman, and now we're a team.
Yep. I think the thing that made it, for some of the different points in this movie, which we'll get to, is that because we've seen them in movies where they've had a lot more fun and things like Guardians of the Galaxy, it's been a lot more upbeat. There has been kind of dark moments for them, but it's usually like it's fun, it's lighthearted, lots of jokes, and then to see those characters like
this was
going through some
suffer.
stuff.
This was actually kind of heavy going.
Suffer.
Like I kind of came out of it sort of like
numb,
weary a little bit, not in a bad way, but just kind of like shit.
I feel
my God, what happened?
This was a PG movie in the UK.
Shouldn't have been a PG.
Was it?
PG.
I thought it was 12.
I'm
sure it's 12 or 12A.
I think it might be
Should have
12A.
done some research into this.
We should have done some
I'm gonna look into it right
research
now.
into this.
I'm like 90. I would bet my life on this 12A.
But even a 12A, this film, you're gonna need to give your kids counselling after they come out of it.
Yeah, there's some torture.
There's
death.
There's a lot
There's
of
a bone audibly breaking.
Oh yeah, there's some really vicious stuff. Like
there's that favorite beloved character is really upset and angry. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's a 12A.
Is a 12A? Okay.
I found that out by going to a cinema app.
So is 12A? Is that the one?
12A is
you can go with
above.
a parent.
That's what it is.
So it
as long
goes
as it's with a parent.
PG and then 12A.
Right.
And then 12. So you can go if you're like 5 if your dad takes you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mum. Oh yeah, auntie. Oh yeah, uncle. A
should
parent.
not be
Up
taken
to-
to this.
It's up to a parent though. It's
Yeah.
up to the parent's discretion. They could raise their kids watching Saw from 4.
I was just saying, admittedly, I would probably want to be taken to this, and
That's
all
the
the kids
thing.
out there are going to want to be taken to this
They've all
because
built
it's
these relationships with these characters, so you wouldn't be able to go, no, sorry, can't go now.
yeah.
I feel like all the Avengers movies have been 12A though.
You're probably right. Yeah.
But this one is a tough 12A.
yeah.
Could have been higher rated than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're cutting off half your audience.
That's true. That's very true. Mum and dad won't go if they can't take the kids for some families.
Yeah. It's it's a dark one compared
It's intense.
to
I
the
need to see
previous
it again.
movies.
We're actually
yeah.
seeing it again on Sunday. So
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
I was thinking, I was
With
like, I
Mummy and
really want to go
Daddy.
see it again.
we are going to
I
bank in
wanna
our
s- I
free
wanna see it again anyway,
our free
so-
tickets we got from the
It's just with
dodgy
The
Black
Abyss
Panther
family
showing.
one.
Oh,
Yeah, we had an issue with Black Panther when the screen was all pink and green when it started.
Pink Panther?
Yeah, for IMAX 3D. And then someone came in and fixed it, but it had to be in IMAX 2D, so we got free tickets for it.
But I'm down for seeing it again. If Adam wants to see it
Again, yeah. I think we've got a friend coming next week. We'll go and see it with him
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well.
We'll see as many times as we can.
Anyway, yeah.
So we the plan was to do the movie beat by beat, and then we'll take kind of pauses to talk about
Yes.
different elements of it.
As
so
close as we can to beat by beat. I
Again-
think we start with the best intentions, then as it goes on and gets picked up the pace, we're kind of like...
the movie's thrown around between 3 locations in the last act so quickly that it's hard to know. You can't remember which scene was in what
Yeah.
order. But yeah, basically, final kind of warning: if you haven't seen the movie yet, go and see it, and then come back and
Yes.
watch this
Yeah.
because
There's some big stuff.
there's some very big stuff. It is. You can see why they did the whole kind of like Thanos demands your silence, and admittedly, we're kind of breaking that a little bit in the sense that,
I don't want to mess with Thanos.
but it is out in the UK now. You
It's
are
out-
able
no,
to go
it's
and see
out,
it.
It's out worldwide now, isn't it?
The US comes out tonight. The US were a day behind
No,
us.
but is the US now essentially now though?
Uh,
Like, is their midnight show
no,
not now?
They're behind us. So
Yeah, they're about behind by like 6 or...
yeah,
6
but no,
hours.
sorry.
Depends
So
where
in
you are.
America, it is the 26th right now. So, but
Yeah,
they're-
so their midnight show will be in the 27th. So
Yeah,
their
in the
midnight-
27th.
Yeah, so their movie comes out now, like tomorrow, but their midnight show will be like now.
By the time
No.
people listen to the podcast, it's not even relevant.
I was gonna say this isn't relevant. They are sorry. I don't. Yeah, they are
Yeah,
behind. They're behind us. So when it's like 4:00 in the morning for us tomorrow, that's their midnight showing sort of thing. You know, if you think when TV shows and stuff come out in America, they're early hours of the morning for us, where it's like late afternoon for them. So
Yes.
their midnight will be early hours. But yeah, because they moved for anyone who doesn't know, you will know, Avengers Infinity War, the dates got moved, basically make it more of a universal release, which was the 27th of April, but then in the UK, it got then moved up another day to the 26th. So we still got it a day earlier than the US, although Australia got it on the 25th, and I think Germany got it on the 25th or 24th. So it still didn't come out worldwide.
It's a lot closer.
It's
than
been
what it used to.
releasing since Monday.
Just to clarify, Eastern Time are 7 hours behind us, so
Right.
they've got about 6.5 hours from this moment until they can see the midnight show.
From when we're streaming.
So if you're
this.
in East Coast, don't watch.
Yeah.
It's an amazing film. We want you to come back and see our thoughts on it, but we really don't want to ruin it because
No.
there's stuff going like from the off. So
But yeah, so we're going to go beat by beat, and then we'll kind of maybe give some sort of actual review to it. But again, definitely don't don't hang about if you haven't seen the movie yet, as much as I wouldn't normally say that. Give us a follow. Come back later on. The VOD will be available on Twitch for at least the next 60 days, I want to say.
And as well, we stream quite often, so you could always watch the VOD and come back to another stream if you want to chat about it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be talking about this for weeks.
I don't know if it's worth creating
a dedicated VOD.
A dedicated channel in Discord as well.
Yeah, we could totally do that. But yes, so the movie opens.
Should we do one final?
This is spoilers.
Now spoiler territory.
Spoilers.
If you want the movie spoiled, stay. If not, go.
There is people who want the movie spoiled. Like there's an actual subreddit called, because I'm always on the Marvel Studios subreddit. That's my go-to. It's to the point where if I type Reddit into my browser, Marvel Studios is the one it recommends me going to, because that's the only one I go to. It's not the only one I go to. It's the one I go to first every morning. There is literally a subreddit called Marvel Studios Spoilers, and it's just people who want to know the movie before it comes out.
I know a few people like that.
I don't get it.
Off topic, there was like someone wanted to know the ending of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I can tell you." And he was like, "Yeah, just go ahead." And I was like, "What?"
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't mind if something has been spoiled, because it is still the journey. It's not just the destination. That's the whole.
But sometimes it's that moment of what?
Yeah, and this movie has that many times over.
My mother's terrible for that. You'll sit down and watch a film with her if she's not seen it. She goes, "Who's he? Has he done it? Was that him? Who's she?
I'd punch her.
Did they do it?
I'm done.
What's going to happen?" She will watch one. There was a TV series recently. She watched the first episode and then predicted what the ending was about 10 episodes down the line.
How can you do that?
And I was like,
you watch one episode and go, "This is the end."
I was trying to do my best poker face, going like, "What? No, that's not what happens.
No,
just keep watching it."
Was it right?
It was.
It was.
I think your mother needs to put the lottery
It
on.
was. I've sometimes got a good sense for it. We'll sometimes watch a film and I'll pick up really quickly what's going to happen.
Yep.
But other times I'm completely oblivious. But it's in front of Westworld. Nah.
I get a little bit film student on certain things where I'll go like, oh, well, they focused on this like twice. That must be a key element. And 9 times out of 10 it is. It's the whole Chekhov's gun. Like if they make reference to something in a movie or a TV show, it's more often than not just random. It's usually because they're going to use it later. Anyway.
Back to the topic.
Back to the topic at hand. So Thor Ragnarok was the previous movie, which ended with the...
Was it?
It was the last one before this.
I thought it was Black Panther.
Sorry, it was Black Panther, what we're talking about.
Yep.
But
You had me so confused.
The last relevant one.
okay, so timeline-wise as well, Thor Ragnarok was the most recent one. Black Panther... No, you're absolutely right. Black Panther was the most recent release. Black Panther was just set like the week after Civil War, so in the timeline that was earlier.
Right.
Ragnarok...
Because he's still mourning his papa.
Is like up to date, and it ends with all the Asgardians on a kind of a life...
On the Grand Master's big old ship.
Yeah, kind of floating through space, deciding they're going to go to Earth. And then the deleted scene, the extended scene at the end was you saw what we assumed was Thanos' ship shows up. So this movie literally picks up like a matter of 20 minutes later.
Probably.
If that.
There's a distress call going out. The ship's been destroyed.
Oh, it's awful.
It's going around. You're getting introduced. You're getting to see some of Thanos' Black Order from the get-go, kind of around the ship, as well as like Heimdall's lying there, like, which just broke my heart. I didn't even know Heimdall was going to be in this movie. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, Heimdall! We'll get to that. And then you see, I didn't realize, as soon as I saw Thanos standing there, you saw that there was like bodies next to him. It wasn't until he like picks one up and it's like, oh, that's Thor.
Yeah.
Then he's holding onto his head.
God of Thunder, when he's just discovered he can control lightning, he's super, super strong. And
I'm putting it down to his loss of eye.
You think that's what it was?
Depth perception.
he kept just missing him.
But yeah, so basically there's a whole back and forth because Loki is like the only Asgardian apparently who's managed to just like not be attacked savagely.
He's a trickster.
Yeah. And also because he knows that he's got the Tesseract.
I did
Isn't
think
that
this
in the
straight
deleted
away.
scene as well, or is that in the end of Thor Ragnarok?
In the end of Thor, when he's going
He
to...
hesitates.
Yeah, when he's going to grab the crown, Surtur's crown, to put it in the Eternal Flame, you see him stop and look at the Tesseract for a moment, and there was always a hinted that he picked it up. So yeah, he picks it up at that point, obviously, because now he's got it. There's a whole back and forth. The only bit I didn't like this, that Loki seemed like he was genuinely considering letting Thor die for the Tesseract. We just rewatched Thor Ragnarok before going to see this a matter of hours beforehand, and their relationship was at its highest point.
But Loki's main thing is self-preservation. Through all the films, there's loads of times you think they built a bond, and then he betrays him again. I did think the whole time, I thought it was going to be a trap. I thought it was going to be one of Loki's illusions,
like when
that he would be crushing him, and then suddenly Thor wouldn't be there.
It was a potato.
Yeah.
But no, Thor was actually getting his skull crushed pretty much.
Loki gets the drop, the line that he's probably been waiting for since the first one, which is, we've got a Hulk.
Yeah, he gets to deliver that one.
Hulk comes out, tries
and
smashing
you're so
Thanos.
ambitious, you're like, they're fighting, it's really good, he's going to beat him. No.
Thanos wipes the floor with him.
Yeah, and Hulk seems so surprised as well.
Yeah, no, Hulk was demoralized by, like, because, Hulk doesn't get defeated, but Hulk got put in his place.
He got beat down.
Completely, like, Thanos very easily just, like, picked up Hulk and threw him at the floor.
It was almost like he was just entertaining him to start with.
Yeah, he was just done. Didn't they actually say that?
Yeah, they say that, like, let him have his fun.
Yeah.
Or something along there.
I think that was it. That was the Black Order. So at that point when Hulk's on the floor, Heimdall, with his last breath of life, uses the last bit of magic he's got to beam Hulk away.
The Bifrost.
Yeah, uses the Bifrost, beams Hulk away. In turn, takes a spear. I can't remember if it was a spear or a sword or something. He gets stabbed in the heart.
It is the spear that one of the Black Order carry.
Was it one of
that
those
may
ones?
be Corvus Glaive.
Is it Corvus?
I made a note because he has a
Yeah, I think because it's the big
pike.
golden pike. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
bladed pike or something like that.
Yeah,
it
because
was
I think
described
Thanos
as.
picks it up off one of them.
Yeah. Okay.
And then stabs him.
So Heimdall.
Should we take a second as well to explain the Black Order are basically Thanos' henchmen. He's got 4 of them.
4 henchmen. It's kind of like
It's always four horsemen of the apocalypse.
It is. It's always very. Yeah, exactly that. We'll get into those once we get to meet them a bit better. Right now, they're just on the ship. They're not really doing anything right now, other than a little bit of banter. So the first casualty, Heimdall's dead.
Yep.
Very quickly
that
afterwards.
Was sad. As well, it puts it all into perspective when Heimdall's like a pro fighter. And Thor is as well. They're like warriors. And it's just like...
Yeah.
I didn't think Heimdall was that much of a fighter because he was just being the guardian for like...
He was, but...
Have you seen how buff he is?
Well, yeah,
and he
that's
protects
just,
the Bifrost.
That's big driss, though. No,
it's his responsibility
I think
to take care of it.
The moment in the second Thor movie, the one that no one remembers, when the Dark Elf ships are coming in, and he scales up a Dark Elf ship and like takes it down himself with like a dagger, and it's like, oh, he's actually pretty badass, isn't he? Like he's a proper protector. And
then he protects all of Asgard essentially. He is like
Doesn't
the
he
gate.
protect all realms?
I think he watches over all realms for Odin or something. I've seen lots of stuff about that where people have said, why is Thanos doing this now? But it's because like all of the people that were like Odin's gone, he's no longer looking after the realms. The Ancient One's gone, no longer looking after that side of things. And there's like a few other characters that each of them have like died in the previous movies, and suddenly now Thanos is his time to shine. Loki gives up the Tesseract to stop his brother's skull from being crushed like a walnut.
That was, of course, the moment where Thor was like, we don't have the Tesseract, and Loki sort of like, well.
Yeah, shows it.
Well,
yeah.
Tricks on you, I do.
And then we get to see the next casualty of Loki having, first of all, the life strangled out of him, and then you just hear the pop of his neck as it breaks.
Yeah, again, he does try and he swears his allegiance. He gives him the Tesseract. He tries to jump ship to work with Thanos.
Yeah, of course he does. It's Loki.
What is it? His undying allegiance, and he goes undying.
Yeah,
and then kills him.
But it's due to Loki trying to kill Thanos.
That was what it was. Didn't he give it to him, and then he went.
He doesn't try to like jump ship, and then Thanos is like, get away, I don't need you. He tries to kill Thanos.
Of course.
Because he gets stopped instantly.
Is it already mentioned at this point, or is it I think it'll be in the notes that Caryan's provided for me here, but is it later on that it's mentioned that Xandar's gone?
I think it's later on. It's a scene with the Guardians. What he does at this point, he's got the Purple Stone, he's got the Power Stone.
I think he might have mentioned it to Thor, like off camera, but then later on, Thor mentions it.
So
yes, that might be right, yeah.
The Power Stone is the one that Ronan the Destroyer had in Guardians 1. And then now that he's got the Tesseract, he just crumbles it like it's a biscuit. That was really when he kind of go
and blows the glass. Yeah.
So he's now got the Space Stone and the Power Stone.
Yes, so he has the power. He's extremely strong, and he can teleport around now.
Did you put this on the side? I'm trying to stop my phone falling off my lap because there's a cat there.
But yeah, so we've lost Heimdall, we've lost Loki. I thought Hulk's been sent somewhere. Also, while this was happening, Thor was basically like wrapped in metal by, I think it was Ebony Maw did it, and he even put like a thing over his mouth. So while Loki's having his neck snapped, Thor's like screaming.
Can't do anything.
Yeah, can't do anything. And then I think they basically exit through a worm, like through a portal that he creates while the ship explodes around him.
Yeah, I think he uses the Power Stone. The whole thing starts just exploding in purple flame and everything.
Yeah. I had to go back and check the trailer because I thought that they'd done a bit of like camera trickery.
A lot of stuff is changed in the trailer than there's in the film.
But like I thought that Loki was in the trailer like a load.
I get that. I had the sense that he was in it more. Also, that was one of the people I mentioned before. I've been watching in the American talk show. Jimmy Kimmel's had like all of the Avengers cast. There's so many of them. He's doing them like 4 per day.
Yeah.
And yeah, Tom Hiddleston's like doing all the press tour. He's at everything. He's at all the events. He's doing all. I
guess if he wasn't, then you would start to question why his name's on the bill.
Chris Evans has done none of it because he's in a play at the minute. So he's doing none of it.
Shakespeare though.
He's off. He's in a play with Michael Cera at the minute. So it's quite fun. It's like a little reunion of the Scott Pilgrim people.
But yeah, I thought he was like 100% in the trailer. Loads more. I went through this morning and was like, I'm sure like he's in like the final scene of the trailer, chasing towards the camera.
The change that
was
that scene even fully in it? I don't remember that scene being.
I don't think so.
But from maybe a different angle.
I think they've cut bits from it because I'm sure you see Bucky does that run out of a bush with the gun. But you don't actually see him do it with everybody else. Also, in that bit, we always had Hulk running. Hulk isn't in the film after the first bit, really.
But we'll go back to that.
We will get to that in just a moment. But yeah, we don't really see any more Hulk after the scene when he gets his ass handed to him. Yeah, so
which I guess in hindsight, maybe it's because Hulk was really sad.
That's my theory.
Potentially, Valkyrie's dead. Korg might be dead.
We don't know.
All these people from the ship we didn't see.
I like to think that they were, because they didn't say everyone was dead. They said that half of the Asgardians were dead. So I like to think that maybe they sent escape pods off.
Because that's Thanos' big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, he kills half a population.
That's his whole thing. Because that was we'll get to his whole setup and everything once we're getting through it. But yeah, that's pretty much the movie intros with 2 major characters being killed from the Thor franchise.
I feel like that sets it.
It does.
Goes just the floor running. Yeah. It's like, this is how it's gonna be.
100%.
The rest of the movie, just it doesn't have like the slow build up of being like, we're on the ship. Oh no, being attacked. It's just right, we're being attacked. You're straight into the deep end.
So sad as well because Loki's evaded death so many times. Admittedly, because he's tricky.
Yeah.
And he's a bit slimy. And he's self-preservation and everything. So it's really sad that after all that, it's just like gone.
But this is dead. Where it ends up being a trick.
Well, maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe.
There is that option.
There was also, just to skip back a tiny bit, did the intro, like Marvel... I don't want to call it the Marvel crawl, but like when it used to always be the pages flicking, and now it's kind of like a big 3D
It's like goes through the letters of the Marvel logo.
That was in silence this time.
Didn't even get the epic music.
Like no epic music.
I think it did, but just very
They did very faint little hints every sort, but it was mostly just like silence, which again sets the tone for the film because we go to Wong and Strange from the Doctor Strange movie are in the Sanctum.
The New York Sanctum.
The New York Sanctum to be specific, which is the one that Strange is now looking over. They're talking about lunch and stuff. It's a fun little banter back and forth. Like Wong's got no money. I think he had like 100 and something rupees.
200 rupees, I think, and it was like it's like 10 cents.
Yeah, it was like 10 cents, which sounds about right. Hulk just comes straight. Well, sorry, Banner basically comes straight through.
He's Hulk when he comes in.
Was he mid-transformation?
Because you hear the Hulk noise, and then when you see him in the hole, it's just like a slightly green Banner.
Which was the hole we saw from the trailer. We saw that he was like lying in a hole, so that made sense. They pretty much immediately from that cuts to Tony and Pepper in the park while Tony's talking about his dream. He dreamt that he had a child, so that now means he has to have a child.
But because he goes on some wild, crazy analogy, doesn't he? But I forget what it is now.
Something about needing to pee.
It's that whole thing of if you dream that you need to pee, you wake up and you need to pee, and he's just like, so I dreamt that I had a baby, so that means that I've woken up and now I need a baby. Like,
and he's like, oh what? He's like, no.
Pepper's just outright saying no because she's like, you've gone back to what you've been doing. He's got like a new arc reactor type thing. It's not a proper arc reactor.
He doesn't need it.
It looks more like it's maybe just part of the outfit that he's wearing. He explains it's to do with the nano machine technology he's using.
Put it as an insurance policy.
Yeah. But yeah, they're kind of doing their back and forth, which is nice to see. Again,
nice chemistry.
It's nice to see Pepper again. I mean, we saw her a tiny bit at the end of Homecoming, but it felt so rushed when the kind of just she went after during Civil War when they were just like, oh, we're separated. So yeah, Wong. No, is it Wong or is it? It's not Wong. It's Strange. He comes through the portal. Yeah. And he's basically like, you need to come with me. He's got obviously no idea who he is, but then Banner shows up. We end up back at the Sanctum. Wong explains all about the Infinity Stones because Tony
made at the dawn of the universe.
Yeah, he does the whole thing like the Collector did in Guardians 1, talks about all the stones and all that sort of stuff, and explains that they have a stone.
And he does his whole little...
Yeah,
opening the eye of Agamotto.
Yeah, he shows it. A ruckus, that's what's written in the notes here, a ruckus begins out on the streets of New York.
Hang on, before that point, there's a lot of bickering.
There is a lot of bickering.
Tony and Strange just clash straight away. I think Tony wanted to get the stone away.
I did like when Strange's cloak slapped Tony though, because he was like manhandling a relic.
I think he was stretching on it.
Yeah. So and he's saying that this should destroy it. Then they start talking about, can they just call Steve?
Yes, call the Avengers.
And obviously because Banner's not up to date.
Banner isn't up to date, so he's like, just call everybody. And he's like,
yeah,
wherever you've been.
So I think
he's just about to get the
he shows the cell phone. I think he actually opens it because he makes some comment about the fact that it's an old flip phone. When the ruckus starts outside, they go outside and there's a donut in the sky.
We're calling it a donut. It's a big round spaceship.
I think they refer to it as a donut at one point. It's the one, again, it was in the trailers. It's the huge one that's just like spinning, like the dust and everything kicking up. So they go outside, they see all that. I actually really liked that scene because it felt like it was the first time we'd seen them in like on the streets during the chaos.
Rather than turning up later on, they're actually seeing people running. I think Tony was stopping to help, like a woman fell over.
It was like a camera following behind as Tony's like being a hero on the street, which is nice. It's nice seeing them being heroes. Is it at that moment when it cuts to the school bus?
Is it then, or is it not a bit later?
Do we see some more stuff going on before that?
No, I think it might. I think they go around and help the civilians.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the school bus.
Yeah, which is this was a clip that was released in the UK on the Graham Norton show.
I think it's in the trailer as well.
There is a little bit of it in the trailer, but the Graham Norton show showed him actually like asking Ned and he slaps him on the face and he's just like, I need a distraction.
To clarify, this is Peter.
Sorry, yes, Peter Parker.
On a school bus going over
I'll
a bridge.
probably just refer to him as Spider-Man from now on because there are multiple Peters in this film and it gets confusing later. When Peter Quill and Peter Parker are in scenes together. But anyway, so Spider-Man, he exits the school bus, does some cool swinging down against the water and stuff, and we go straight back to a fight that's going on, and this is when Ebony Maw is facing off against Doctor Strange, which this is the first time we properly get to see Ebony Maw outside of...
Past wrapping up Thor.
Yeah, pretty much. You get to see what he can do a bit more. He's one of the Black Order.
Yeah, so he's just pulling things off buildings, off the floor, sending them all over the place.
Yeah.
There's a cool bit he does with bricks when he kind of half buries Doctor Strange on the side of a building.
Upside down in bricks, so the camera's doing some crazy upside down stuff. That was all that action scene was very cool.
Strange.
But yeah, there's also Cull Obsidian there as well.
Yes, Cull Obsidian shows up, which
because they come down together and then they have a bit of banter because Stark does his normal. It's closed today.
Yeah, I like that.
Like the general, it still has that, even though it's serious.
It is, but it
still has them
little bits
Marvel
of
comedy in it throughout the whole bit,
which is
just
really
sprinkled
nice.
in nicely.
Yeah, especially from characters like Tony and Star-Lord and stuff. So they go back and forth. A big fight kind of opens up. They get split off. So Doctor Strange is fighting against Ebony Maw, and Iron Man ends up in a nearby park fighting against...
Before this point, we've got Banner trying to change into Hulk, and he can't.
He can't.
Hulk won't come out.
He refuses.
So he gets portaled into the park to be safe.
Yes, that's what it was. That's why he ended up in the park.
Wong sends him into the park.
That was it. At which point, amidst this fight, there's like half a taxi being thrown around and all sorts of stuff.
With
and
all
then,
the portals, bits and pieces going all over the place.
Yeah, Spidey shows up. And
yes,
I think
it's a saving the day sort of moment. I think a taxi's just about to hit Iron Man in the face, and then Spider-Man catches it.
He catches it, yeah, really easily. Is it even that, or is it Cull Obsidian's like hook thing? Doesn't he just like? It looks like it's about to go in and grab on.
Yes, I think it's that.
grab on the Iron Man, and it's just suddenly you just see like Spider-Man's hand catch it with ease.
Well, bear in mind, we nearly saw Spider-Man hold together a ship.
We did.
Isn't it the fact that Spider-Man is ridiculously
He's
overpowered?
obscenely strong.
He's very strong.
But he is also just a
15-year-old child. He's got the powers of Steve Rogers.
Pretty much, yeah. If he had the fighting ability, he could probably take on Steve Rogers. But it's the fact that Steve's been trained. He trained back then, and he's been training since he got defrosted. Yeah, so they kind of go back and forth and have this fight. So some point during it, Doctor Strange gets knocked out. He gets taken by Ebony Maw, but Tony sends Peter.
Wait, no, not even that. Ebony Maw's trying to take him, but then the cloak wraps itself around.
Of course.
Strange.
He goes off like a little
and it
rocket.
like shoots off, and I think Tony tells Peter Spider-Man to follow the wizard.
Yeah, protect the wizard.
So we've got Ebony Maw chasing Strange, who's wrapped in the cloak, and then Spider-Man coming after them as well.
But yeah, so Peter's off doing that. They're having the whole fight. I can't remember what happens to Cull Obsidian in this fight. Does he also just leave?
I think he must just go off.
Yeah.
No, doesn't Tony do something to him? I'm sure, if I vaguely remember correctly, Tony might like incapacitate him.
Yeah.
I think he incapacitates him, and then Strange gets like fully taken.
Yeah,
he gets sort of teleported up.
At that point, yeah, Strange gets fully taken.
Yeah, because that's it. Strange gets taken up, and then
Peter's
Spider-Man's
following.
like, I'm being abducted.
Yes, that's it.
And I'm sure he makes a pop culture reference or something.
He makes quite a few throughout the film to like aliens and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, he's been abducted. He's
and then he like tells Tony, and I think Tony like,
calls
does a few little like finishing blows on Cull Obsidian.
Yes, and
then
asks
goes
Friday.
Yeah, give us some more juice, something along them lines.
Yeah, it sends the new kind of suit, which we don't know it's the suit at that point, but I think we all knew what was coming to Spidey's rescue.
Yeah, because we've got Peter attached to the side of a spaceship who's slowly starting to suffocate because he's going through the atmosphere.
But bless him, he wasn't going to let go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when we get the reveal of the Iron Spider suit, which was even more badass. That in the trailer you see that cool landing. That's literally the first time he's wearing the suit, like on the side of that donut ship. But Tony deploys his parachute on Spidey's suit. So he gets sucked away.
The suit comes from like the Avengers base.
Yeah, it flies from like, up like north New York State. Yeah, because you can see the donut ship like off on the horizon in that shot. But does Tony gives chase after the donut ship as well?
Yeah, because he's got that thing where he's like got this big massive thruster on his feet and everything. We'll get to see the nanobots. Nanotech.
The nano
where he can like
something.
change and
the tech on his suit in this movie they just literally went, he can do anything now, and I love it for it. Like it's so cool the fact that he can almost just make things on the fly.
It's a new way that they've adapted it because there was only so much more they could do with the suit, and it does make sense because he looked so much like slimmer.
I love the way that they've done
bulky.
it. His suit has gone slim. I mean, in the comics, it's the bleeding edge armor where it actually the nanotech is in his blood, and he's got little like ports on his body, and when he needs the Iron Man suit, he literally just goes like boop, and it just like springs out of his blood.
That's sort of how it works in the movie, though.
It is,
but
without
doesn't he
like
touches his chest and it just starts like crawling out,
which
of
is really cool. Like it is. It's that without it being so unrealistic of it being inside of his bloodstream, and because that just seems dangerous. I mean, no more so than having a hole in your heart, but yes. They have the whole fight and everything. You see Wong goes back to the Sanctum, and
there's some sort of exchange between him and Banner, isn't
there?
there?
Banner picks up the cell phone that he finds on the street that Tony left behind, and you see that he's got obviously Cap's number. At which point we cut to the next set of heroes, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. They are responding to a distress call. We get some fun banter and stuff inside in the Milano while they're flying. They come across the wreckage of...
it's a back and forth sort of thing of why they're responding. It's kind of because they want to get paid for helping, essentially.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, basically once they arrive there, there's just bodies everywhere, all these Asgardians. It's horrible. And then Thor just hits the windshield. Rocket's yelling, get it off, windscreen like wipers. And then Thor's eye opens. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of... I think they spent a lot of time with Thor and the Guardians, not just in this scene, but like in a few other scenes as well, in the sense that they seem to really have fun with the back and forth.
The dynamic. I guess it makes the most sense because Thor's going to be the most accommodating.
It's also
Thor's been around. He's seen different stuff and everything. The interaction between the Avengers from Earth is going to be like, what aliens, can we trust them and everything? But Thor, he's way more accommodating of it.
I feel like as well, it's because Thor actually knows about Thanos and the Infinity Stone.
Yeah, he's already aware
he's
of
the
him.
one that's actually knowledgeable on the Avengers team about what's actually coming.
Yeah, so they've got this whole fun bit with Drax, where Drax keeps just describing Thor as like, he's not a
dude. It's Star-Lord's a dude. This is a man.
This is a man, a manly man.
It's like a cross between an angel and a pirate had a baby or something like that. It's very funny as they're all discussing it.
We get kind of a bit of kind of the story all kind of set up at that point where they need to go to nowhere, whereas Thor needs to get to we've got the name over there, don't you?
Nidavellir.
To basically forge a new weapon. That's the only way that they're going to be able to defeat Thanos. So they end up splitting up. Rocket and like teenage. Is it teenage or is it?
Is it
adolescent
or is it young Groot? I don't think this is. I think it's young Groot.
Is it young Groot?
He's definitely a teenager the way he's acting.
Yeah,
I think he's maybe got like another stage.
I think I'm not sure if adolescent was the one that James Gunn's used, because teenage was the one we saw at the end of Guardians 2, but this is like supposed to be a year or two after that.
Is it not that we've never actually seen full grown Groot either?
No, we haven't. I think the Groot that we saw in the first movie
is it maybe not baby Groot, teenage Groot, and then what we saw in Guardians 1 was adolescent Groot?
Yeah, that might be adolescent.
And
Groot.
then we still haven't seen fully grown.
Yeah, so this is somewhere between teenage and adolescence that we've seen here. But they're going with Thor to go and forge a new weapon. They're taking the pod from the Milano, whereas the other Guardians are going to head to Nowhere, which is, we know it from Guardians 1.
Nowhere is in KNOW. Not like nowhere is in not a place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, isn't that kind of one of the things when he says nowhere and then they're like, what do you mean? And they're just like, no, nowhere, like we've been there before.
It's the head of a destroyed giant.
Wait, it's,
I did my research.
What's his name? Because it's the corporation is all... Taban, that's it, because it's the collector's name. Then from there we're gonna get cut, because there's a lot of cutting around in this, setting up where
I feel
all
like
the different
it
characters
handles the cuts well as well.
So well.
Like you went sitting going, right, I've just jumped and I don't know what's happening.
And now, you never felt like you were just checking things off.
You feel like it was like, here's a piece, and you got satisfied, and then it was like, here's another piece.
Yeah,
it's everything you need to know.
It was all generally a good length.
You got all the information you needed. It wasn't drawn out or just skipped over.
They managed to fit like about 25 characters worth of stuff into one movie.
And that was the real worry, that it was going to feel like way over push. But I think because everyone was grouped together, it kind of worked.
Yeah, they managed to do team ups really well. But yeah, so we cut to in the movie it titles it, but they do meant Caryan. I actually missed this, that they outright say Edinburgh
later on.
But yeah, at this point it just cuts to Scotland.
Yeah, but we know it's Edinburgh because you knew it was recording there, and I think we all recognise the places.
Yeah, absolutely recognised it straight away. But yes, it's Wanda and Vision. Vision, as we saw in the trailer, looks like a guy. I thought in the trailer it was going to be like some sort of weird in each other's heads, dreamy sort of sequence, but it's actually that
looks like Paul Bettany.
He's kind of got, I guess, some sort of nanotechnology himself where he can kind of shift his what he looks like.
I always thought he would be able to.
The only time we see it, is it not so that he can walk around?
Normally, I think. But I think it doesn't it get damaged? Like as soon as the first time he takes damage, he's like, he can't do it again.
Yeah.
I always assumed he could, because when we first met Vision, he just summoned up a cloak from nowhere.
Yeah,
so I always figured he would be able to do it.
Yeah, but he doesn't use it other than that's what it is. He looks at
Thor and was like, yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah,
that's mine.
I think isn't the only reason he puts clothes on because he kind of like he sees a reflection of himself in the window and then he like forms clothes, because originally he's just this pink dude floating around. Yeah. But anyway, they're in a hotel room in Edinburgh. They're
obviously together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're very much like the story that they start setting up in Civil War, that they love each other. I mean, she's obviously they've got a connection purely because of the Mind Stone more than anything, and then that's led to emotional and.
Isn't it like they're secretly seeing each other as well? Because when they're in Civil War, weren't they on different teams?
Yeah.
So like they're meeting up undercover.
I think they knew where they were, because I think I think Cap's side knows where they are.
Yeah.
but like it's for more
of
the
course,
government
Tony
side,
Yeah,
and Tony didn't.
The government's not supposed to know that she's just out and about.
I think he said as well. Tony mentioned that Vision had
Deactivated
disabled his
his tracker,
tracker.
yeah.
Yeah, isn't that what it is? Is it's because she's on the run because she was essentially in captivity until the very end of Civil War when you see Cap come to break them all out. Is it not that that Vision has disabled his tracker so he can go and spend time with her?
Yes, that makes sense now.
But yeah, they're spending time in Edinburgh. You see them; they end up out on the streets and everything. Outside, there's a fun kebab shop where it says that we will deep fry any kebab or something along those lines.
Scotland. I think as well, it's a thing that he's sort of trying to get her to go away with him. It seems like Vision cares more about Wanda now than doing what they were doing. Yeah,
I think probably because he realized that regardless of what you think's right, people can still get hurt for the fact that he paralyzed someone on his own team. Yeah. But yeah, they very quickly, once on the streets of Edinburgh, come under attack from Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who I learned when I was researching their names are married.
They are married. Or at least in the comics they were married. But you can see that they have some sort of relationship.
I think they work together.
Yeah, they very much work together. And as soon as one was injured in this, the other one was like went straight over to them. They're more than just like working together.
That's the first time we've met those properly. So Proxima Midnight is a super strong fighter lady.
Yes.
And Corvus Glaive is super fast and strong. They're all, when I was reading this, they're all super fast and strong.
I think Corvus Glaive looks like a stretched out goblin in this.
Yeah, he does kind of. Weirdly, Proxima Midnight looks like someone from Rise of the Guardians. You know that one about...
What, like a snow elf?
Oh no, she looks like an owl a little bit because she's got this weird like...
not Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Oh, I was
the one about Santa and Jack Frost and everything.
Oh,
she looks a bit like the Tooth Fairy. The animation looks a bit like those.
I can get that. But yeah, so they end up fighting. We end up going all over the place. We end up in Edinburgh Waverley.
Waverley Station.
Waverley.
Yes.
Is it Waverley?
Yeah.
I thought it was Waverley.
No, Waverley.
I wasn't saying it right either.
It's a train station in Edinburgh. There's
It
two
is.
train stations.
It's the main.
It's the central
It's like
one.
the
main.
the main one you'd go into. Yeah, they end up fighting there, which is pretty cool because it's a train station that we've all been to. So
they're also fighting on top of like a cathedral, isn't it? And
Yeah.
am I correct in thinking they filmed in Durham?
they filmed in Edinburgh for all of those bits.
I thought they filmed
They did
Durham
film
as
a bit in
well.
Durham,
They
but
did film in Durham, but I did not spot it once during the film. I think it's the next movie.
If it was also maybe filming on top of Durham Cathedral. That's what I've obviously never been.
When we went and visited all the set stuff, it was all interior. So they could have filmed stuff up there, but it was all interior.
I don't know what.
It might
I've
have been
never
the
really
train
looked
station
at like
roof,
the
because the train
top.
station roof's very like glass and
There was a bit
angled.
where it was more cathedral though. When I think when it was
It
mostly
could be
Vision up
by
there.
the Royal Mile. There's a lot of churches
It
and
could
things
be,
there.
but I feel like the stuff they filmed in Durham Cathedral, I didn't see anywhere. So I think that's going to be the next movie because they filmed the movies back to back. So
It showed as well that Wanda's getting stronger because she was actually flying and she was flying with Vision. Vision basically kept getting torn away by Corvus, and who kept like getting a thing in his head and trying to get the Mind Stone off and everything. And Wanda was actually like flying with both of them.
Yeah,
it wasn't just a case of little like boop boop boop. It was just flying away.
yeah,
So that was pretty impressive.
it's cool. Like that she can fully fly now.
She's
in the
developing
comics
her
she can.
powers.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing we'd like slowly seeing them grow as well.
Yeah,
because
which
it's
is really
been
nice.
2 years since we last saw them, hasn't it? Isn't that what they said?
Yeah.
Because
Doesn't-
it was.
Civil War
they've
wasn't
been
2
saying.
years ago, was
No,
it?
they've been saying 2 years.
Yeah, the Civil
Because
War
there's a
would be 2
reference
years.
later on where Sam's like saying it wasn't exactly 5-star hotels.
If we're just thinking of them in our timeline, I know the films don't always line up with our timeline because like Guardians 2 was actually only a few months after Guardians 1 and stuff like that. But Civil War came out for us at least 2 years ago because since then we've had like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and
Black Panther.
and Thor Ragnarok. Like we've had like a good few films.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
I think they do actually say the date at the time at some point.
Yeah. But no, so they had the fight, they end up in the train station. It doesn't seem like it's going very well, and then
A train goes past.
and they're looking, there's something there,
Yeah.
and then the man of the hour shows up.
Beard and all.
Yes, absolutely, beard and all. I'm so
your
glad
left.
he came in this. I was worried that we weren't going to get him until like way later on in Wakanda.
Yeah, because
the
that's how it
trailers.
showed. Like, he showed him stepping out of the shadows, and then Black Panther being like, get this man a shield.
Yep.
And I was like, he's in now?
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, so he just
amazing.
comes out. Black Widow shows up along, and then Falcon just swoops out of nowhere, fly kicking them as he goes. And
Amazing
it's a
moment.
phenomenal scene.
It was sort of yes.
Yes,
Little
the
here,
music as
really
well. We got like a
exciting.
little hint of the Avengers music as they came in. They end up managing to actually defeat or at least put them in that place. I wouldn't say fully defeat because obviously they come
I
back.
don't know. They were in a position of power.
The thing that I think they've really damaged Corvus Glaive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
because it's referenced later on.
Yeah.
There's that line as well of Black Widow saying, "We don't want to kill you, but we will."
Yeah.
They could have done it then. I don't know if maybe wanted to talk and understand it, and then they were just like, "Nah, out."
See you later. Beam me up, Scotty. Goodbye.
Pretty much.
From that, I don't think we can figure out exactly when this one slots in, but I think it was here that from there we actually cut to a planet that we don't necessarily recognize with a lot of green people, which turns out to be a flashback moment. We saw a tiny hint of this in the trailer with Thanos walking with a young Gamora, which I really like that they fleshed out some of Thanos' backstory. Like, I'll say now that by the end of this film, I didn't sympathize with Thanos because he is still a psychopath. But he was a bloody good villain. Like,
he was. It was one of these things where you can tell that he thinks what he is doing is exactly right.
I get his point of view on it in the sense of that, but at the same time, he's still a psycho. But yeah, like they did such a good job of fleshing him out for the fact he's only fully been in one film. He was in Guardians, but he was sitting on a chair. I love that they even reference the fact, like then when she says like always hated that through, and that's later on. So we get a little flashback with young Gamora, which she'd already mentioned earlier in Guardians 1 that she'd been taken when she was a young girl and her family were killed and all that sort of stuff. We kind of get to see it.
It sort of explains it as well when she first meets Thor, because Thor mentions about Thanos.
I forgot about that.
And then Gamora's like, "Yeah, that's my dad."
Yeah.
You think it's going to go really badly, and then
he's like, "It's okay.
Yeah.
We've all got bad family."
Yeah, my brother tried to kill us, and my sister's the goddess of death, and my
I love that. Thor. I think out of all the characters, Thor might have I know he's changed the most, but he's grown the most out of all the characters.
I feel like Thor as well and Star-Lord bounce off each other nicely.
Well, also Star-Lord seemed to hate
there was a whole
Thor.
ego thing. You felt very
emasculated.
Threatened.
Yeah. So from that, it's kind of like it cuts to Gamora. We get to see young Gamora get given it's like a small switchblade sort of thing.
Basically, to cover it a little bit more, we see Gamora with her mom.
Yeah.
And then they get separated. She's run around looking for her, and that's when Thanos finds her. And basically, all these people are getting slaughtered, and Thanos sort of turns her away, keeps stopping her, looking at all these people getting killed.
Yeah.
And buys her affection with a knife.
Yeah.
It's like a really balanced switch. It's a balanced switchblade.
Yeah.
Which then I guess that also represents his view on this is how balanced I want the universe. Like a little bit too much to one side and it tips over. Same with the other.
Yeah. Which is very much, it's exactly his view. In fact, I think they might have used one of those lines in one of the trailers somewhere about balance. And in the trailer, it seemed like he was talking about the universe. But in the movie, he's actually talking about a knife. Which is just interesting. That's just how much it's just his overall philosophy. But yeah, you see that Gamora still got that.
Because does it not go from there to Thanos, Gamora and Star-Lord
talking in the Milano?
Yeah, and she says like, if he gets us, you need to kill us.
She knows a secret that Thanos doesn't, and she won't tell Peter because then he'll know as well. She believes she's the only person who knows it. Yeah.
We then get a fun... it was fun. At the same time, I kind of think... I'm surprised it made it in. I'm surprised that it didn't end up being a deleted scene of Drax convinced that if he stands still enough that he's invisible.
So at this point, it's getting a little bit hot and heavy. We see that Gamora and Peter are actually... Star-Lord are actually together now. They're kissing and everything.
Fully together.
And then you've just got Drax sitting there eating these Zagnuts?
Yeah, Zagnuts.
Yeah, Zagnuts.
I feel like it's part of Drax's deadpan.
Yeah.
Doesn't know social cues. And he's just like...
Dave Bautista just is... the character that they set up in the first Guardians movie was good, but then they seem to take everything that was good about it and just triple it for the second movie, and that's the character we've got now.
Yeah.
Because he's standing in and being like, I've practiced standing so still, I'm invisible. And then Mantis walks in and goes, "Hi, Drax." And he's like, damn it.
I do really love Mantis as well. I'm so glad that she's joined them.
Off the back of that, we cut back to Doctor Strange, who's currently being tortured.
Which is the bit you saw in the trailers.
We get it goes for a lot longer than the tiny bit you see in the trailer when you see the just these weird needle things. You see
glass needles.
They're like glass needles, and they're fully just piercing him. I thought one was going to go in his eye. It was headed for his eye.
It's being tortured by Ebony Moore.
Yeah.
He's saying that for ironically he's saying that for microsurgery.
Yeah, I felt like that was almost intentionally on the nose of it, like the fact that it's a surgeon
being tortured by something he loves so much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's being tortured. Is this at this point that Tony realizes that Peter's also on board?
It is pointed out at that point or earlier that the Eye of Agamotto has a spell on it. So they can't just take it from him.
I did miss that. Yes, Maul tries to take it off him while they're on the streets of New York, and it burns his hand. He's got a spell on it, so he has to be killed if he wants to take it off him, sort of thing.
Yeah, because at that point Tony's in the ship as well.
Yes,
and he's like talking to Pepper, being like, "Yeah, we're not going to make our reservation."
That whole bit when she's cutting out, and she's like, "No, get back here now!" Like that
and
was just I just felt for him because it was almost just going back to when was it Avengers 1 when he was trying to ring her.
Yeah,
but he couldn't get through because she was sat watching the TV. It was flashbacks to that.
But yeah, it's like at that point Tony discovers that Spider-Man is still on board because we see him get on board.
Yeah, we see that he manages to stop
away
it. Yeah,
but Tony doesn't know.
I think Disney Quip should have stayed on the bus.
Yeah. Peter suggests an alien-style fight on the ship, making reference to the Alien movies.
Have you ever seen Alien?
I like how he goes. Have you ever seen the really old movie Alien?
Yeah. That was the one. I've seen people criticize this. They did it with Civil War, so I'm surprised they did it again in this film. It must just be something that the Russo brothers like, that Spider-Man references things as old movies. In Civil War, he makes that reference of like, you ever seen that really old movie on the ice planet? Well, obviously he doesn't reference it. He's just like, on the ice planet, blah blah blah, and they make fun of. He's just like, yeah, how old is he? He didn't carbon date him. And then you see in Homecoming that he's a kid with like Star Wars all over his walls and stuff. He would not refer to it as that old movie on the ice planet.
I'm sure he says Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I'm sure he mentions it.
Does he actually outright say Empire Strikes?
I'm sure.
It's still when he's trying to describe it to them
at this point.
On the ice planet, I think.
Yeah, he tries to describe it to them first, but it's just like he would have literally just gone Star Wars. Like,
I guess he's new to them. He doesn't know what they're.
Yeah.
They could be aliens. If all he is aware, they could all be aliens.
That's true. But yeah, they set up that they're gonna basically take a page out of Aliens. So they basically blow a hole in the side of the ship, and Maul gets sucked straight out there.
And dies as well.
Yeah, just immediately that's him gone.
Because he's frozen. It's the Yondu treatment.
Very much, yeah, pretty much.
Let's just take a moment.
Not even as all of Yondu's crew went the same way.
Just to remember Yondu for a second.
Yeah.
But we also see Strange get sucked out that hole as well. With Spider-Man just managing to save him.
To get him.
Because he falls out, and then that's when we see the first part of like Spider-Man's spider legs.
Yes, the Iron Spider legs come out, which are always in the comics, but we never got a hint in any of the trailers that he had them, and they look so damn cool. They're straight out of the comics, and he uses them. He doesn't even seem to use them. He mentions
that it's intuitive.
Yeah, because he meant the suit has like a mind. I'm guessing it's either got Friday in or another one of Tony's.
Well, it'll be Karen from Homecoming. Which is obviously we're not talking about Homecoming here, but the fun fact, which I don't know if you know, Adam, is that I'm totally blanking on the actress's name. Jennifer Connelly voices Karen in Spider-Man: Homecoming. The actress is married to Paul Bettany, who was obviously Jarvis. It's just a fun reference that his first AI is married to. Anyway,
yeah, because the suit almost has that sense of danger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it'll just do something to like save the moment.
You saw it even with his earlier suit during Spider-Man: Homecoming, when it would literally like when he first got it in they took the training wheels off, and it was just like just like, wait, why is my web doing this now? And she's like, you told me to choose the one that was best suited for the situation, and it was like bomb mode or whatever.
Just to cycle back a bit, because we missed the part about Tony's new suit as well when they're fighting Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw in the street.
Well, this is the back bit,
and these back lasers come out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty OP.
Like it just keeps on evolving. Like
it feels like he could probably just think up something on the spot and go, I need this for this situation, and the suit just makes it.
I don't know why we don't always see that bit from Iron Man 2 when they're fighting against the not Sentinels, but you know what I mean, that sort of thing.
When they shoot each other.
No, when he's got the laser, he just gets War Machine to duck down and he just goes whoop, and they all get cut in half. Why doesn't he always have those?
I don't think he can have too many of them because they're individual little things. He does reuse them in the Avengers movie when he's fixing the like the propeller. Mm-hmm. He uses them to cut through metal. So I think they're more of a utility thing. It's just that he used them in that. But no, I get what you mean. Once they figure out an OP weapon, why doesn't he just use it for everything? But no, so from there we end up with more bickering on the ship. They decide to
massive ego clash between Strange and Tony.
Yes,
like Iron Man.
And we get that moment that was in one of the trailers when Peter's trying to introduce himself, and he's like, "I'm Peter Parker," and he's like, "Doctor Strange." Oh, we're using our made-up names.
Yeah.
Bless you.
And Strange says from the start as well that if it's between saving the Infinity Stone or saving Peter or Tony, then he will pick the stone.
Yeah.
He's all just about protecting the planet.
Yeah, I think at this point
universe.
he's literally he just refers to him as the kid.
Yeah.
He's like, you were the kid.
But there's also a part in that as well where Spider-Man gets sworn as an Avenger.
Yes.
Yeah, he gets kind of
like,
knighted.
and he goes, "You're an Avenger." Done.
At this point, is this when the ship crashes on Titan?
They realise that they've got to land the ship.
Yes.
I think they have to make a decision as to what they're going to do.
Yeah, because
the ship was like autopilot to Titan. Yeah.
So Tony and Spider-Man try and land the ship because it's kind of a thing of it's a one-person thing where they've got one hand in one control, one hand in the other, and they do that together.
Of course it is, because it's made for someone that's way bigger than them to fly it.
So they crash it.
Yeah. Well, it'll be made for someone the size of Thanos, I imagine.
I did notice throughout, whenever question atmosphere, everyone can just breathe anywhere.
I noticed that when they were on the planets.
Yeah.
In
totally
space,
fine being
you
in
see
Titan.
like Spider-Man slowly start to run out of air and get thin, but when they're on a different planet, it's like
we
can breathe.
I don't know this.
Atmosphere's okay.
I'm no astrologist. Is that the right one? Someone who studies space and
Astronomy.
Is it? Are you going to go with
Astrology,
Titan,
star
the
signs.
Saturn moon?
Yeah, isn't
It's liquid methane, the whole surface of it. Like
yeah, that's what. So that's not the same planet that we're at on this one.
no, it can't be because I'm sure it is. Like I'm sure it travels through the galaxies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's the same Titan. It's how everybody would think.
But yeah, so they crash the ship, and then it cuts to nowhere where the Guardians are. They do
Milano Guardians.
The Milano Guardians, which is Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, and
Mantis.
Yes. They do a fun little bit where Star-Lord wants them to like hold, and everyone just ignores them and walks straight past.
Which is the proper sort of.
Yeah. They hear something's going down, like there's some arguing or something going on. And when they get a bit closer, it's Thanos has basically got his foot on the Collector, which I thought was a fun nod because both of those actors are acting together in the sequel to Sicario at the minute.
Of course, Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin.
Yeah, they are together. They're the two stars of Sicario too. I just thought that was a fun little nod there that he was basically stamping on him in this. But yeah, so it's the whole thing where the Collector claims that he's already sold the ether, which is the reality stone,
which we saw in Thor: Dark World, the red one.
Again, the one that no one remembers. Out of all of the Marvel films, it is the weakest. I've gone back and have enjoyed moments of it. I mean, you get the cool bit with
it's still a Marvel film. It's still good characters.
With basically, by cool moments, I mean every moment with Loki, and outside of that, nothing. Because that was the movie that gave us that moment where Loki's all like composed and everything after his mother's death, and then you reveal what he's actually like, and he's like in tatters.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful moment in the movie. And there's also the bit where he cuts off Thor's arm, and then it was all a big like trick. That was awesome. That was the best part of that movie. But anyway,
the rest of the 2 odd hours.
The big villain was set up in that one of the dark elf that no one remembers.
Admittedly, I was
name.
about to go. Who was the villain in Thor 2?
It was Malekith.
I generally couldn't remember.
Played by none other than Doctor Who alum Christopher Eccleston for some reason, despite the fact he doesn't speak English other than maybe like 5 words at the end of the film.
Look like him or really do anything worthwhile.
Yeah, why did they cast a reasonably good actor in that role?
It was a shame.
Anyway, we're not talking about that movie. It wasn't the worst movie, but it wasn't a good movie.
It's just high standards.
Yeah, and the standards just keep getting set higher and higher with these movies. But yeah, so they are... That was the first time we got introduced to the ether anyway, and I don't think it's been mentioned since, really, other than when they talked about the stones.
There was the Easter egg when Lady Sif
they took it to
and
the
one of the
Collector.
Warriors 3 took it to the Collector. Yes.
That was that not the Easter egg, the stinger on the Thor movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we knew it was with Taban,
yes.
the Collector.
Yeah, because I think anyone that watches these films at some point, even if you don't stay in the cinema, once you get it on DVD, you will have seen these deleted scenes, like not deleted scenes, sorry, like the stingers. Yeah. But anyway. They're sneaking in. They see that this is going down. That Taban's being stepped on by Thanos, and Gamora charges in.
No. Not even before that point.
Drax tries to charge in.
Drax is trying to get in
And
to
they have
try
to
and
stop
stop him. Mantis puts him to sleep.
Oh, which
of
makes
course,
a
then
huge
he falls
noise.
and makes a huge noise.
Yes. Then Gamora charges in, right?
Yes.
She charges in. She goes in with a blade. She manages to stab him in the neck. The blade he gave her. Stabs him in the neck. He's going like, why? Blah, he's bleeding out. He drops to the floor. Quill even makes the comment. Like, everyone in the theater, I think, in that moment was silent.
Yeah.
And Quill even makes the comment of like, that was easy. Like, and then
it was an amazing performance by Zoe Saldana as well, because she was distraught, because even though he tore her from his family and everything like that, she still grew up with him. She still just killed this guy that she's wanted to kill for so long.
It's a weird comic book example of what's the disorder? Not disorder.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome. It's a weird, like, it's the last place you think you would find an example of Stockholm syndrome is in a
aliens?
movie about a green alien, with a giant purpley blue alien that took her in as his own. But yes, then you start hearing Thanos' voice, and you start clicking that this isn't quite what's going on.
And then doesn't he fade slowly?
Yeah, he
fades slowly, and then
the world starts
like,
to reveal,
wipes away, and shows the true reality of it.
It's completely on fire. It's totally destroyed. Taban, who had been shoved off in a box out of the way, disappears.
Yeah, the Drax tries rushing forwards and gets chopped into cubes, which I panicked immediately and was like, no, they can't just... They've killed other ones quickly.
I think you'd come in at that point, so they wiped the world.
Yes.
Thanos had entered, and then Drax chases in, and then that's when he uses Reality Stone, being like, I can control all reality, and change Drax into stone.
Mantis into like
Mantis
streamers.
to Courgette.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, Peter tries coming in and saving the day. Gamora's saying
we
that he
missed
has
a really...
to...
Oh, no, we did cover that. You did cover that earlier.
Gamora is basically like saying that you have to do what I asked you to do, sort of thing.
I think it was a case of he was pointing at Thanos and she goes, no, not him.
Yeah. So which is just a utterly torturous moment for him, but he does lower the gun.
So conflicted.
He does pull the trigger.
After Thanos antagonizes him.
Yeah, keeps
he's
antagonizing
pretty much
him.
saying that he hasn't got the skill. There's also the really funny joke when he says, the boyfriend, he says some sort of reference to a long-term booty call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does pull the trigger, which is it's the fact that we as the audience know that he was committed to that he was going to do this. And bubbles come out the end of the gun. And then Thanos kind of just walks backwards into his
space portal.
Yeah, his space portal, and takes Gamora with him.
And as he walks out, like, reality fixes itself.
Yeah,
so Drax
reassembles, which is nice.
Puts his Rubik's Cube back
together.
together.
He fixes himself. It would have been awkward if something had gone back in the wrong place.
Well, Mantis, like, sort of stretches back.
Yeah.
She was essentially a slinky for 5 minutes.
She really did. She was just like ribbons on the floor. We cut back to Earth at this point. The team that were in Edinburgh have just arrived at the Avengers facility, where we see Colonel Rhodes, or not Colonel Rhodes, it's just Rhodey now at this point.
No, doesn't he still get
I think he's still
Colonel Rhodes?
Yeah.
Still an Air Force man.
Yeah, he's chatting with General Ross. Although I don't think he's necessarily just General Ross anymore, isn't he? Like the Secretary of Defense.
Possibly, yeah.
So yeah, he's chatting with him. He basically, General Ross sees that they come in, like Captain America's there.
Well, they're busy explaining that Vision's tracker's gone offline and that they can't find him whatsoever.
And then they all walk in.
And then everybody walks in.
He's ordered to arrest them.
Ordered to arrest them, and he basically just like boop, like ends the Skype call. And I think he says himself, and he's like, "Well, that's a court martial." Like he just accepts that he's done it and everything. But it's a nice moment where when we last saw these characters together was a horrible battle. Or at least the last moment we saw them on screen together was a horrible battle for most of them. I mean, there was the whole thing where Falcon got shot at by Vision, and Rhodey was the one that ended up paralyzed. But regardless, Rhodey's still like, how you doing?
Rhodey's got some amazing, like, anatomical...
The legs that he's built for him are just... Yeah, but it's Tony Stark. Yeah. He's also apparently building weird things out of his back and stuff. But yeah, I just thought it was really nice that Rhodey was just like more than happy to see them.
It goes to from Civil War where everybody was at each other's throats. That they come back and like the world, world's about to end.
We need each other.
We need to get back on together.
Yeah. That was a bit earlier on that we missed when they were on the ship after Edinburgh. Black Widow was giving Scarlet Witch wrong and saying said we're going to check in with each other and everything like that.
Yes.
So they're all working together, but separate sometimes.
Yes. They realize that they can't do anything.
This is the time as well when Banner
reveals that he's there.
When they all see Banner for the first time in ages, so there's a little moment between him and Romanoff again.
Which it felt a little bit sad for Romanoff because she seemed like she was willing to kind of be quite friendly, and he was very closed off because obviously he knows what he's done to her. So she seemed a little sad by that, but at least that's the way I took it. Banner basically says that he can't fix Vision there. So they say that they need to like
not the time or the place.
Yeah, they need to go somewhere else to sort it, sort of thing. At which point we cut to Wakanda
because Cap goes, yeah, I might know somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. We cut to Wakanda where we see T'Challa's busy kind of walking across the fields and stuff, and you see yes, I can't remember what they're discussing at that moment.
It's how they weren't expecting. This is what.
It's not even that yet.
Is it not?
No, that's when they're meeting them off the plane.
Someone's carrying a box.
Oh yes,
carrying a box.
Yeah, they go in to say that the White Wolf's been
here
resting long enough or something like that.
Yeah.
And they go and put this box down, and we see it's Bucky with a sling covering his stump and everything like that. And they open it. It's this amazing prosthetic arm with obviously the Wakanda check, and I think he said, "Where's the for battle?" or something like that.
Yeah. Also, I think I only noticed this last week before seeing the film, sort of thing. If you compare Bucky with his last arm, so the last time we saw him was Civil War, to now, Sebastian Stan has piled the muscle on. His last arm was maybe like this thick, like it was a reasonable. He was a good looking dude. This new arm is like a bloody tank, and that's not because of that. It's because they have to match his other arm. He's put on so much muscle mass that the dude is huge at this point. But yeah, that's just a little bit where we get to see where Bucky's at. He's growing his hair out, and apparently he's conditioning it very well now. Like,
it looked
he's really
horrible at first, but it looked better a bit later on. I hate Bucky's hair. Sebastian
Stan's
a good looking guy.
But we know Bucky's there from the stinger on
exactly that
Black Panther.
And that's when they refer to him as the White Wolf as well. But yeah, so we see that very briefly. Then it cuts to Thor with Rocket and Groot. And there's a whole joke going on about needing to pee.
Groot needs to go. And he won't go in the cup.
Yeah, because Rocket's busy communicating with Groot.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, Thor communicates back.
Yeah, he says something like, just throw the cup out of the spaceship and then fill it up again.
And then Rocket's like, well, you speak Groot? And he's like, yeah, like...
It was an elective.
It's an elective in Asgard.
So that was a nice touch.
It was. That was a nice touch to that. And at which point, Rocket also gives Thor a robot eye, which I didn't
like. That was a little bit later on.
It's after.
It's just before they get into
because Rocket's like they have the back and forth about
he said
Thor being able to speak Groot, and then Rocket's like, well, it's time to be a captain.
Yeah,
and
there's a whole thing earlier when Thor thinks that Rocket's the captain and he just runs with it. He's like, yep.
So he goes over to Thor and asks Thor's backstory.
Yeah.
And, like Thor's explaining everything that's happened, like fighting his sister and lost his father and mother.
Yeah, his dad's died.
And he's fought all these guys. Yeah. And he's like, this is fate. And and Rocket just goes, but what happens if you're wrong? And you see like the sort of anguish in him and being like, yeah, it could be that. It could just be luck.
Wasn't he saying he's got nothing left to lose?
Yeah, like if it doesn't work, there's nothing else to lose. Like it's either this or nothing.
Yeah, and then Rocket's going, well, I've got something to lose. And then, there's the thing where he gives him an eye.
Yes.
And it completely gets rid of the eye patch that were...
Yeah, I don't know if I like... I mean, it's fine. It makes Thor not have to need an eye patch anymore, but at the same time, doesn't it kind of undo... He felt like he I guess he's lost enough other things now where it's okay. Because it was at the time, it was like, he lost his dad and his home's being destroyed, but it was also the fact that he lost an eye, so it was kind of like... He really had the sense of that he's grown as a character. He knows loss and everything now, but then immediately it's just like, well, now he's got an eye back. Like... But at the same time,
it's a robot eye.
It's a robot eye. It would be weird if he didn't.
Out of a planet.
Yeah, God knows how.
Rocket's person.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess it makes sense because I mean, up until that point, Thor hadn't crossed paths with the sort of characters that would be able to just be like, he has a robot eye because it's commonplace in the Guardians universe, which is the same universe. So he gets a robot eye.
And he mentions it being all dark. Like he goes, I don't think this eye is working, and it's all dark. And then that's when
they arrive at the forge. But
it's gone out.
All turned off. Yeah, because it's supposed to be. I'm just going to adjust where I'm sitting here.
Should we do an adjust?
I'm just doing a quick adjust for you audio listeners out there. Just adjusting in our chairs. So this is at the point because the forge is supposed to be built around a neutron star.
Or dying neutron star.
Dying neutron star. That's it.
Because that was where all the king-worthy weapons or Godslayer. I know it's Godslayer. Like Thor mentions it, killing gods.
Yes. It's where Mjolnir was forged there, which was the whole thing that it was forged in the heart of a dying star. Mew Mew. Yeah, so they arrive and that's all turned off. Then we cut to... We think we got this in the right place. We cut to Titan with Spidey and Iron Man and Doctor Strange, at which point the Guardians...
They're arguing still.
Yeah, they're all still arguing on Titan, at which point the Guardians arrive. And obviously a little bit of a fight and kind of opens because they don't know each other. They don't know what's going on. So
I think there's some sort of really funny thing where Spider-Man first comes across Mantis and he's terrified of her.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, I don't think I'd be scared of Drax first because he's a giant, scary grey man.
He does look like a human at least.
There
he's
is
humanoid.
That. Yeah.
And there's sort of a thing of when they all think that each other are working for Thanos.
Yeah.
Tony realizes that Star-Lord's from Earth. And sort of thinking, no, I'm from Missouri.
That's Earth.
That's Earth.
There's a part, like, to go back to Spider-Man pop culture references, when he's being chased by Mantis, he's like, please don't lay your baby eggs in it. Because he's like, I don't want aliens to burst out my chest when he's talking to Strange and Stark.
Yeah. After they kind of settle down and they're talking, they're trying to come up with plan and stuff, what's going on. Strange is kind of meditating in the background. You see a few different shots.
Does your friend usually do that?
Yeah, which is like his head is like weirdly whipping around in weird different ways.
The time stone's doing something.
Yeah, which I'm curious whether when he's, because I know it's the whole thing that he's supposed to be seeing all these different outcomes. I'm wondering, because he looked very anguished when his face was doing this weird stretching and warping. I wonder if that was Strange experiencing his death in the other like thousands of outcomes, like he was actually like testing them.
Or seeing the pain.
Yeah.
Then you might experience the pain of it.
Yeah.
I imagine it must take a toll to go forward in time as well.
Yeah. To at least to look into the future.
Yes.
So yeah, he's kind of doing that. He says that there's
14
million.
Yeah, and there's
14,601 outcomes. And
is
then
that an actual number?
I think so. And then they go, how many did we win?
Is it one?
One.
Yeah.
So you can assume there's kind of a plan forming.
Yeah. So at which point we cut back to the Forge again.
Nidavellia.
Thor and his party are at the empty Forge. They get attacked by a giant...
They're having a look around. They're saying there's no one there.
There's no one there. And then a giant Peter Dinklage comes out and attacks. I knew that Peter Dinklage was in the movie. It came out a week ago that he was playing one of the Black Order. And then as soon as I heard the Black Order, I was like, well, none of these are Peter Dinklage.
I was listening to all of them going, which one's going to be?
Yeah, and then as soon as he shows up, it's like, oh, that's literally just Peter Dinklage, but giant.
It took me a while to notice it was Peter Dinklage until I had like the full face shot at him.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get it from his voice. But even though it was giant Peter Dinklage, he still looked like short Peter Dinklage, if you get it.
No, they did. It looked like they just scaled him up, which is interesting. That's how dwarves work in their world. Like it's they're giant, but they're still, yeah.
We had before. You're not jumping up again. Sorry, there was a cat.
There's
For the people on the audio, there's a cat trying to climb up my leg again. Before this point, actually, before Eitri, who's Peter Dinklage, had turned up, they did see a cast of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
So they knew that had been involved there somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eitri turns up.
Yes.
Slams into Thor.
Yes.
Very upset.
He
realizes it's him.
Realizes it's who?
Like Eitri seems to realize it's Thor.
He knows that it's Thor. Yeah.
And explains like how the Forge has ended up becoming inactive and why it happened.
It's a really sad moment when he's going, you were supposed to protect us. Asgard was supposed to protect us.
Yeah.
And he's saying there's no more Asgard.
But isn't it that Thanos is basically, because it's obviously where the gauntlet was made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like Thanos has gone over to the Space Forge, asked for this gauntlet being made.
Yeah.
And Eitri's gone, right, I'll make it.
Yeah.
Thinking if he makes this gauntlet, it's gonna save the Forge, and he's just gonna like spare everybody. They'll all be fine. Like Thanos will just leave, but then once he's made it, it turns out that Thanos just murders everybody and keeps him alive to see the outcome.
Your hands are mine.
And I think he like puts his hands. It looks like it's like encased in metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's just got these metal claws that he can't do anything with. Really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Because obviously Peter Dinklage is very good at conveying emotion.
Yeah.
Really paints.
However, all I did here is Tyrion Lannister.
As soon as you realise that it's Peter Dinklage, it's just Tyrion. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, so they, they decide that they're going to make this super axe
together.
Did they say the name of the axe at that point?
Yeah, I think he mentioned
When
like
he shows them the cast.
they bring the cast down and they mention what it's called.
Yeah.
And they call it Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Do you think
And
Rocket
makes a reference being like, that's a bit touching, isn't it?
Yeah. At this point, we go back to Gamora because she's now with Thanos, and she's witnessing her sister being tortured, which I ended up really liking the Nebula character in Guardians 2. Wasn't a fan in Guardians 1. Really liked her in Guardians 2. So seeing her just utterly screaming when she's literally being pulled out like a slinky into like 1,000 pieces.
When the scene starts, you see her from head on, it just looks like she's sort of being
that was very clever.
like floating. You're like, all right, what's happening? And then it turns to the side and you see that because she's a robot, she's being totally stretched out and deconstructed, and it's
beautiful use of
doesn't look comfortable.
The 3D, because we saw the IMAX 3D performance, and this whole movie it's the first movie ever to be shot entirely in IMAX. But yeah, we saw the 3D one. That was actually a beautiful use of the 3D when it kind of like goes around the sides and you see that she's in all these pieces. Yeah, she's being tortured. Gamora won't say where the Soul Stone is.
She doesn't know.
Yeah, she keeps saying that she doesn't know.
It was earlier on, I think Thanos had said it was a disappointment, and she was saying that I didn't find it. He's like, no, that you didn't tell us, or something like that. Thanos knew that Gamora had found where it was.
Yeah. At this point, does she just reveal the planet that it's on?
So
no, she denies it.
After a bit of torture, 'cause I know that handy. This point was where I took a toilet break, but didn't seem to miss that much.
No, I think you came back. You left a little way into the torture, and you came back. I think before the torture had finished.
No, I didn't. I left before the torture.
Oh, did you?
I left before the torture because it just explained the whole seat.
Yes.
Being like, I hate this throne, and Thanos is like, I wanted to see you on it, I believe.
Yeah.
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 And then came back to the torture scene.
Right. Yeah, you didn't really miss much.
The guy who I think you look like a Chitauri.
I think
was working on Torture and Nebula.
Yep.
Clicks this button and it goes accessing memories, and then we see sort of a display of Gamora talking to Nebula, going, I found a map and I destroyed, same where the Soul Stone was, I destroyed it.
Yeah.
And Thanos is like, you'll show me.
Yeah.
She's saying no, that's what it is, and then they start torturing Nebula more, so she's screaming. And then, Gamora goes, fine.
Yeah.
So you'll show us where it is.
Doesn't she just outright say that it's on Vomia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she says the name of the planet.
But Thanos says she's going to go with him.
I only remembered it because it's noted up on the board over there.
And then you can see the sort of sadness or disappointment, I suppose, in Nebula when she's like thinking, should let us die.
Well, also the fact that she's probably lying there going,
give that away.
I've been tortured for so long over this, and you just quite happily gave it over very quickly.
But obviously, because Gamora and Nebula have got this bond, they did anyway, but it got a bit tighter after Guardians 2.
But just after the entire scene when everybody wept over, and by everybody I mean all the audience, over that entire final scene to Guardians 2, and we got the moment between the sisters and everything. We cut back to Wakanda. This is the moment that we were about to mention before, where T'Challa is walking out with Okoye. Yes, thank you. And that's when we get the fun moment, which I think was in one of the TV spots.
Before even that, we've got them flying in. Because no one else has seen Wakanda before. It's only Steve.
Because Falcon's flying.
And he's like, are you
sure we need to go in here? Yeah. Because if you're
going to land
wrong,
a lot faster than you want to.
Yeah. At which point...
see Wakanda come
in. I'm mildly confused because at the end of Black Panther, they come out and announce Wakanda to people.
Maybe they just still don't know where they are.
But they're like, nah, we've got all this tech, but we're not telling you where we are.
Yeah.
At all.
It seems more like they're just going to build centers in like different countries and share it that way. It's just as well they didn't reveal fully where they are, because apparently it makes them at least a little bit more difficult to fully attack because they've got force fields everywhere. But yeah,
that's when they're walking across the field and they go, well,
they're walking out the main building.
Yeah, and they're like, I didn't think this is what you meant when we said we'd open up Wakanda to visitors. I thought we'd get a Starbucks.
Maybe the Olympics.
I think it was on the tail end of a TV spot, and after that I saw all it was pictures of her, where there was a original picture from Black Panther, a poster where she was holding like a staff, and it had been photoshopped, so she was holding like a pumpkin spice latte. But yes,
Okoye is amazing though.
So good. But yeah, they arrive in Wakanda. And
greeted as friends.
Yes, greeted as friends. Cap gets to see Bucky again.
What is it? He says 100-year-old soldier or something like that.
Yeah.
Wait, no. He references that he's nearly fixed. He's getting better.
Yes.
Because obviously Bucky went there to go under when they try and got all of this brainwashing out of him.
Yeah. And that's Shuri is who's obviously T'Challa's sister. For anyone who hasn't seen Black Panther, I highly recommend seeing Black Panther before this film because it sets up the location of the final battle. Well, one of the final battles. I think there's a lot of films that if you wanted to see this movie, you wouldn't have to see every single film in the MCU. But there's a few more recent ones like
Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, definitely. I'd maybe say that's it. Maybe
I think Thor's
there's some earlier ones, like maybe the first Guardians movie would be a big one because that's the first big interaction with an Infinity Stone. Civil War. You could get away without seeing Civil War if you really didn't want to do that interaction. But I'd recommend Civil War to anyone anyway. But yeah, definitely. I think Black Panther, the fact that it sets up one of the final locales. Yeah, so they...
There's a really funny bit where Banner makes some sort of thing about they're trying to figure out how to do the Soul Stone and get out of Vision, because they're saying it might not Vision might not just be the Soul Stone. He's also Jarvis, and he's a little bit of Ultron, and he's a bit of Banner, and he's a bit of Stark, so he might be able to survive without it.
Yeah.
And he's saying some sort of trouble they've had, and then Shuri's just like gives some rattles off this thing, and he's just like, well, we didn't think of that. So like this 18-year-old girl beats this super smart Banner doctor,
loads of PhDs and everything.
It's just like, well, why didn't you do this?
So they start working on, or Shuri starts working on basically fixing Vision, or at least removing the Mind Stone. And at which point you see these weird like pointy ship things begin coming and basically landing around the outskirts of Wakanda, and that's when we get the line from the trailer. Get this man a shield.
Yeah, someone get this man a shield. They start a prep. I think they mentioned M'Baku at some point.
Yes, he does. He says, like, inform M'Baku and everything. He's always up for a fight. Yeah. And then at which point we cut back to Thor. They are going to restart the Forge. They go through a whole process of restarting the Forge outside in space. They restart it, but it turns out the iris won't stay open. I think that was the gist of it. Just it wouldn't stay open.
I think it opens. So they start the Forge.
Yeah.
The iris opens and starts charging the Forge.
Yeah.
But it then goes back to the iris, and I think there's a connection that you see snap.
Yeah, you see something snap in there.
You see something snap, and then it just all shuts off.
And it's a whole thing where he just needs it for like a couple of minutes to be able to basically heat this molten whatever the material it is. So Thor's like that he'll do it, and there's a whole thing about like that it'll kill him sort of thing.
Because he's essentially standing in a concentrated beam of a sun.
Yeah, he's about to cook himself.
Yeah.
But as he puts it as well, is that if he doesn't, then like Thanos is going to kill everyone anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a little bit of sort of wit there. There's still the little funny asides that you get from the Marvel
there's
films.
Some really nice funny bits.
With Guardians and Guardians 2 and Thor Ragnarok, it was getting really funny. Like there was a lot of comedy, but this is so serious that it's sort of toned back to earlier Marvel level.
Well, I'd say it's
where there's funny bits, but it's not the focus anymore.
It's the Russo's level of funny where it's more like Civil War, where the characters that are funny have some really good quips, where it's still got some serious stuff.
Like Rocket and Thor.
They all get some great lines.
Star-Lord.
Stark gets loads.
I always like that Romanoff gets a few quips. She always gets a good funny line every film.
Yeah.
I think Thor as well, because Thor essentially meets Rocket and calls him a rabbit.
Oh my days, yes.
Kind rabbit or something.
But it's accepted as well. Like for some reason he doesn't kick off.
Yeah, because
he's this godlike man. Huh? Yeah. But yeah, so they managed to restart the Forge, and he holds the iris open. Thor basically gets cooked.
I will say, you see the metal melt.
Yeah.
You see it get poured.
Yeah.
And Dinklage is like, yeah, I'm still not going to tell him it's done yet.
No, I thought that. He kept holding it
like,
open. Because didn't he say all he needed to do was melt it? And he just needed a couple of minutes. But it melted, and he was just still looking at it.
He just started working away.
Bloop, and he's just like, well,
maybe that's the final point.
Yeah. He sees the bloop, and then he starts just making it. He's like, it'll be fine. He'll cook. Who needs it?
Didn't he want the handle?
No. So he comes in. So
you think he was supposed to have a handle?
He gets the cast.
Yeah.
And he casts it, and he starts throwing it on the floor. But at this point, Thor's already been thrown into the Forge.
Well, it looks like Thor could be dead.
Him, doesn't he?
Yeah, Rocket
he's going to go flying, and Rocket gets him with the ship.
He manages to grab him, but he looks like he's dead at this point. Like he's cooked. He's definitely dying.
Dinklage is like smashing the casted bit of metal.
Yeah. Like, where's the
and then
handle?
that's when he's like, "Where's the handle?" Because there's two parts of to the Stormbreaker.
Oh, it's sweet though, because Groot's so anguished because they're looking for this handle.
He needs to help.
Thor's dying, and he's kind of like, he's teenage Groot. He didn't care about anything so far, and he's kind of like going, and you see like the little bit of baby Groot when he's so concerned, and he's just sort of like, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I also think it's hinted that if like it doesn't get made the Stormbreaker, Thor will die.
Yeah.
I think sort of this power that he would get from Stormbreaker like sort of rejuvenates him and brings him back.
That's what you see as well, because it's the fact that you just see you don't even fully see Thor again in that scene, isn't it? Just that you just see his hand like kind of twitch and then open.
No, like you see him twitch and open, and it comes in, and then he stands up with the axe.
Oh, I couldn't even remember him standing up. Yeah.
Watching the trailers, he does the whole standing up bit, and you see the lightning cast.
Yeah.
They cut out the axe.
Yeah.
The axe is gone.
They cut loads of stuff out because they also all those bits in the forge. He had two eyes, whereas in the trailers they showed
with the eye patch.
In the first trailer, the teaser, he had both eyes. In a later trailer, because everyone was like, "Oh, they didn't want to ruin Ragnarok." Then in a later trailer, he had the eye patch, and they went, "Oh, because everyone's seen Ragnarok now." But then it's Ragnarok. But now it's obviously that was all a lie anyway, because he does actually have both eyes because they just keep switching it around. Like I said,
next he's gonna have 8 arms.
Yeah. We'll get to something like that in a minute.
So Groot, bless him, does this cool thing when he grows his arm out and he brings the axe together and his arm becomes the hand and he cuts off his arm.
Yep.
To form it, and that's how he gets his axe. That's how he gets Stormbreaker.
I
didn't realize Groot was that, like, what Groot is made out of is that strong.
Must be. Well, he is a living thing, isn't he?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it would. I would have thought he was quite brittle, to be honest, because doesn't Gamora like hack his arms off in the first movie?
Yeah, but that's with Gamora swords.
That's
Gamora's
true.
crazy strong, and as well,
maybe when it's
when
like
he makes
bound.
that nest around them, he protects them from like a crashing ship from a height.
Yeah,
I know he gets
true.
blown apart, but a regular twig wouldn't do that.
You could also argue maybe when it's bound with this axe, it's going to overall make the whole. It's like enchanted sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they basically get that. We go back to Titan.
Before we go into this bit, can I jump out for a second? Because I just need to take an iron tablet.
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can.
You continue.
I'm going to switch over to my camera right now. If you're listening on the audio version, you don't see any camera, so this doesn't really matter. But yes, so at this point, I'm just going to continue rattling through just this early setting up this bit. We are going to back to Titan, where a fight is... I don't know if the fight immediately just goes down as soon as we're back on Titan, because it's basically Thanos... No, I've missed a bit. I've missed an entire bit, a really, really important bit. We need to skip back. So we do. We need to skip back because once Thanos knows where,
oh yes,
we are heading to Vormir.
I'm guessing you did the same thing. I went home last night, trying to think about it and going, right, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Try remember the order of the film. Could not remember it. Like
during the credits, Caryan was sitting writing it down on her phone. That was the beginning of these notes. She was writing out the order of events. And then we try to finalize it.
Yeah, I know what point you're on.
It's so we're now heading to Vormir, which is the planet that was basically it's mentioned that the Soul Stone's going to be on. I'm just gonna on the wide view again, and one of the biggest surprises in the film, I think, for me anyway. I mean, surprises outside of like who lives, who dies, what goes on.
Did you realize who it was?
Soon as he starts talking.
Really?
I heard a voice and I was like, is it? And then as soon as you see his face, or as soon as you see this cloaked figure, I was like, is it though? And then I started going like, they haven't got the Fantastic Four rights yet, so they can't do Doctor Doom. Which it wasn't. It was none other than Red Skull.
I'm sure at that point in the cinema, you actually heard an audible gasp.
Yeah, because this is a character that's been MIA for like 17 movies.
Yeah, the audience let out an actual audible gasp of like...
Not Hugo Weaving, sadly. He always said that he didn't want to come back for it, and then there was rumors that he would come back for it now that it doesn't have to all be prosthetics, that he could do just CGI work instead. But no, it's an American actor. I can't think of the guy's name.
It looks exact double.
Oh, no, they perfectly matched it. He also did... I think he toned down the German a tiny little bit, but it still sounded enough like Hugo Weaving's Red Skull. So you wouldn't have known otherwise. Like any general moviegoer is just going to go, oh, it's Red Skull. It was just this weird it's just this moment of this is where Red Skull's been. He's kind of with the Soul Stone. He also knew who they were, which I'm assuming maybe the Soul Stone let them know. He
mentioned that he had access to the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
So what did he have in the first Avenger that the Soul Stone was in? That's the only question that I'm left with.
Was it not does he not mention that he had a stone? Not necessarily the Soul Stone, because he had the Tesseract.
No, he mentions like having access to the Soul Stone, I think. If I remember,
I don't remember him specifically saying that he had. I think he's got a connection with the Soul Stone in this, because I think that's maybe how he knows who Thanos and Gamora are when they show up, and I think it's because the idea of the Okie doke. I think the idea behind the Soul Stone is that it kind of can connect everybody. You're doing all right. Camera's not going everywhere. You good? You good? Just everyone squeezing.
Yes.
So so I think the Soul Stone gives connection, so you can kind of like connect with everyone's souls in that weird sort of way, so you know info about everyone. Also, because there's a bit later on where like Thanos knows all about Tony, and I wonder whether part of that was the Soul Stone and part of it was just general knowledge.
Oh, it could have been. I didn't think about that at the time.
Because he had the Soul Stone at that point. But anyway, we'll get to that in just a moment. But yes, they get to this planet. They get to Vormir. They get greeted by Red Skull. Welcome back, Caryan.
Welcome. Welcome me. I do apologize. Not very pro, but I forgot how much we were going to be able to talk about this.
No, I did as well. I thought this would be an hour and a half, and it's an hour and a half now. But we are getting close to the end.
We are, and Mama needs an iron.
But yes, so they reach where the Soul Stone is. Red Skull basically says to them that the only way to get it is to give up something that you love, or to kill something that you love.
Yes.
At which point Gamora's like got him beat. He doesn't love anything.
Yeah, you don't love anything. Not going to be able to do it.
No.
All this sort of thing.
That's you done.
I'm sure you were the same, that the cogs are going in your mind. You're thinking,
oh, I'm going like, no, he's going to kill her, like, or something's going to happen here, because I'm like, because he obviously does care for her.
Cares for her in his own messed up way. The fact that he used to torture her and did Nebula a lot more.
I was just saying,
and make them fight to train them, but it was in his own weird way that's how he cares for them.
I want to see more of their backstory, because not in a way that I don't believe her, because he is a psychopath. I want to know how much he did torture her specifically, because she came out of this with no real battle scars.
Because she was the stronger fighter. That was the thing. Nebula got a bit replaced every time she lost, and because Gamora was the stronger fighter.
Yeah.
Nebula. And when you saw her in the torture scene, you just realize how little. I don't think any of it is real anymore. I think she's entirely a robot now, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's really sad. That's one of the clever things, though. From the first film, you wouldn't have thought that first Guardians, you wouldn't think you would care for Nebula.
No, but never mind. James Gunn's a genius, though, because you also wouldn't have thought that you would have had any feelings towards Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, like you wouldn't have thought that would be the character you have all these feelings for, but you do, like,
that's true.
in a huge way. But yes, so exactly what you're expecting to happen is exactly what happens.
Yeah. And he does love Gamora. He has a little tear and everything.
Yeah, he does. He quite well. That's the whole thing when she's like, really a tear, and he's just like, it's not for himself. Like,
yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, it's isn't it Red Skull that says it's not for himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Red Skull points it out.
So he picks up Gamora and tosses her over the side.
Yeah.
And again, this was on these moments where I was saying it's going to be a trick. It's going to be a Doctor Strange portal. It's going to catch her. It's going to be fine. And no, you see her on the floor.
Yeah.
All broken. This great warrior broken on the floor.
Yeah, completely broken on the floor. Welcome back, Adam.
No.
We've just we just talked through the death of Gamora, which, yeah, as Caryan was saying, that it's one of those moments where as soon as she thought that she had him beat, but then the cogs start going in the audience's mind of being like, he does actually love her though, doesn't he? Like, he's gonna kill her.
I think that clicked when he mentioned that they needed to throw something that they loved.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
I was like, oh god. But at the same time, I'm like, Gamora is a really big. Well, I'm like, at this point in the movie, no one's safe. Like, this is like harder going than Game of Thrones. So if you think about
it, at the moment, how many body count? What's the body count up at the moment?
Oh, we should have had this on the stream. That would have been a brilliant one to put on the stream. We should have had a little body count as we go through. We've had Heimdall.
Lost Heimdall.
I'm gonna do order. So Heimdall,
official
Loki.
Ones.
Official ones, not one
that we've seen.
Yeah, I'm saying no one that was killed off screen counts. So like Korg and Valkyrie, like they're not necessarily dead. But yeah, we've seen Heimdall, we've seen Loki.
Thor's eye patch.
Thor's eye patch is a character in itself.
Mm-hmm. Who else have we had die?
The Collector. He's dead.
Do we? Yeah, I guess we kind of assume that he's dead.
Ebony Maw.
Yeah, Ebony Maw's dead. I mean, yeah, he was only introduced this movie, but he is dead. Is that all we've had so far?
That's what we've got so far.
And Gamora.
And now Gamora. So if you're including an enemy that's just been put in this film, that's 5. But outside of that, that's 4 characters that we've known through at least 2 films each, I think.
To go back as well, when Vision and Scarlet Witch are fighting, it sort of hinted that Corvus Glaive is injured to the point where he could be dying.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I think it's hard because we kind of came to terms with Gamora dying in the scene with Star-Lord. It's like, oh shit, Gamora's gonna get killed by Star-Lord, and it's like, oh no, she's okay. No, she's not okay.
She's not okay. She's not okay.
She's only got 2 or 3 more scenes.
So yes, we lose Gamora. At which point, yeah. So he's got the Soul Stone now. So how many stones has he got at this point?
4.
4 stones.
He's got the Power Stone, the Space Stone, the Reality Stone, and the Soul Stone.
And now the Soul Stone.
And the Soul Stone was the big mystery one that we knew nothing about.
Yeah. So at which point we are going back to Titan because that's where Thanos is heading. He's heading to Titan. We end up with a huge, really epic fight between Thanos fighting off against
everyone that's there. Half of the Guardians, half the Avengers.
Yeah, that's it. So we've got Iron Man, we got Spidey, we got Doctor Strange, and then obviously the all of the Guardians except for Rocket, Groot, and Gamora.
Yeah. So. This amazing double team thing. There was these shots that we saw from the trailers where it was Doctor Strange making little steps and Star-Lord jumping on them, and
some very, very cool double team stuff.
Kept getting overpowered, and then
he kept opening up a portal for Spider-Man, and you just kept getting what was he kept yelling?
Was it magic punch,
magic punch, magic kick, magic punch, and he just kept flying out of these portals and hitting them. Some really, really cool shots going through all that.
So we end with sort of Thanos with his arms apart. We've got Mantis on his shoulders, making him sleep.
Yeah,
I don't know if really trying.
Strange opens a portal above him, and Mantis drops down and gets him dozy. Just
I don't know if it's sleep or he's in sort of
weird stasis-y.
She was saying that he's anxious, he's grieving. We'll go back to that bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got him kind of somehow locked down. So we've got Mantis holding on to him and everything. Not Mantis, Drax.
Tony and Spidey are desperately trying to pull the gauntlet off him.
Strange is doing something to hold him in place.
Strange has got one of his arms.
He's got one of the arms. His weird lasso thing.
And then Star-Lord uses a concussion mine, I can only assume, to trap his other arm.
Yeah.
And then I forgot about this bit until now. I forgot how we found out this part. But because Mantis is doing the sort of thing with his brain, she's saying he's grieving, he's lost, and then Mantis realizes that Gamora's gone.
Yeah.
So then, Star-Lord loses it.
As soon as Star-Lord, and it's one of those moments in the cinema when you're like, oh my god, they nearly got it, and Star-Lord loses, and you're like, you're both mad at Star-Lord for doing it, but you totally get it, because he's just found out
and he's lost so many people.
That Gamora's just been killed. So he loses it and ends up basically waking up Thanos. Thanos manages to grab the gauntlet just as Spidey got it off. I think it was literally it was leaving his fingers and he just grabbed the edge of it.
If you had a gauntlet, like a glove, halfway through your palm.
Yeah, and he just managed to close his hand on it and grab it and put it back on. So they end up in another big fight, but they're all starting to now get knocked down. Strange does one of my favorite action pieces in the movie, where he puts his arms go up and he's suddenly got 16 arms, and then he splits out and there's Doctor Strange's all around Thanos, and they're all lassoing
Doctor Strange's or Doctor Strange Eye?
I don't know. Yeah, how do you pluralize it?
Doctor Strange.
But yeah, there's all these Doctor Strange, and then but Thanos is just starting to use the stones one at a time.
I think he uses on every single Avenger that tries to attack him, he uses a stone.
Yeah.
And for that moment in Strange, he uses reality.
Yeah, he reveals
the right one.
Yeah, but he's putting them down one at a time, which is at this moment, I think, if I'm not wrong, when the next, not death, but casualty.
I think there's the fight with Tony.
Oh yeah, no, they actually, he goes straight into a fight with Tony now. The rest
that comes before the next bit, I think, because it's sort of
it sets up to it. So they're all getting knocked down one at a time. Strange has been knocked back against this back wall.
There's a lovely bit though when Mantis gets sent flying and Spider-Man is doing his damnedest to try and catch her. He's trying so hard to protect her.
Yeah, because he Thanos shatters everything.
Yeah.
And Star-Lord, Mantis, and is it
Drax
is off floating.
Yeah.
Because there's only other.
The gravity's all funny.
Yeah.
Strange and Stark's the only other ones there, and Spider-Man's like going along being like, I've got you, and then he's chasing after Mantis.
There's literally a bit from the trailer which was the cool one when he like dips through like a hole and he does like a good spin, and that was actually completely edited because in the actual movie that's him catching Mantis and like whipping her after him and stuff, but she wasn't in that in the trailer. Like they edited the trailer so much for this.
It's good though because it kept you guessing.
Yeah.
It sold the movie without giving anything away.
Yeah, totally.
So we've got a big fight with Iron Man.
Yes.
And he's kind of like, you can see what his suit's doing because parts are shifting. He's losing parts from one area so he can make like a sword on his hand.
Well, it's also as it's being smashed off him.
Boosters and all this stuff,
Yeah, so you see, it seems like bit by bit. And he makes some really cool stuff because actually, was it not the previous one as well that he made like a weird thing that he slapped onto Thanos' gauntlet to stop him closing his hand?
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, so he can just like
because that was the thing they were trying to stop him closing his fist.
But he can just form things on the go, but bit by bit as Thanos is just beating the crap out of him, you're seeing like less and less of his suit is able. He's like bits of his leg are suddenly not there because he's having to shift them further.
Yeah, I think he smashed his mask, and straight away it was just like another
mask came on. But you can see every time he's having to do that, to me it seemed like he was losing nanobots.
Pulling it from somewhere else.
So like eventually he's gonna have none left, and he's just gonna. I was waiting for that moment when I was like, is he gonna be killed by literally a punch to the face by a giant alien god?
Yeah, because he's a god.
Yeah.
Tony's a man.
Tony's a man. The suit's the only thing between him and Thanos. At which point Thanos manages to get the stab in there and
right through the side.
Stabs Iron Man straight through the side. Nasty wound. That's a bleeder. Which was another. I think everyone in the cinema, everyone kind of going into this film that someone big's probably gonna like die or something. But that was another speculation. That was another one. As soon as it happened, I think everybody let out an audible gasp of just like
because no avoiding that.
Nope. They have this amazing back and forth talk. He does the whole bit from the trailer where he's just like, I hope they remember you. Like, that's what he's gonna. They'll be like, half of the universe will be remaining. I hope they remember you, sort of thing. And then Strange is just like, I'll give you the stone.
No tricks.
Yeah, if you let Tony live.
Yeah, Thanos crushes the eye. We see it's not in there, and then he magics up the stone from wherever it was hiding.
Yeah,
probably wise of you.
Well, he kind of just holds his hand out and it just appears in his fingers.
So, to go backpedal a bit.
Yes.
We see Strange doing the whole.
We do.
Whipping his head back and forward, looking through all the possibilities.
Yeah. And he's got that one
There's that one success.
Yeah. I reckon.
And Strange is, from the outset, being like, if it comes down to it, I'm not giving the time stone. Like,
yeah, I thought that was a nice moment.
I would rather let you die. But then, once he mentions that there's one outcome,
I feel like one has to be.
That has to be the only outcome. Because then
Tony has to be alive to do this.
If you spare his life, I'll give you the time stone. And then, so Thanos gets the time stone.
But Tony lives, and Tony must have to be alive.
And then I think does his space trick again, and off he pops.
There is something we should point out. We didn't know where to fit this in. Nebula did turn up at some point during this battle.
Yeah, she crashes in.
I can't remember when it was.
She crashes in. I don't even remember her fully fighting, other than just that she was there.
She does try and get a shot on him because he says that. Ooh, is that the bit when he said that to kill her would have been a waste of parts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we did have a point earlier, actually, when Nebula, she does something where she keeps popping her eye out. So the Chitauri keeps coming and like putting it back in, and then she headbutts him and gets free.
But yeah, so from that point, Thanos gets the time stone.
I think I'm
sure he space stones away to Earth.
I think this fight, is actually taking place at the same time. There's a few bits where I'm cutting back and forth, but we'll just cover this bit now.
To also cover the point that where I think he needed to have the time stone, like he needed to spare Tony's life, because Tony turns to Strange and goes, well, what happens now? And he goes, well, this is the end game.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
And it's like, maybe this actually had to happen.
This is going to be setting up the next movie.
This is what needs to be what happens before like we can actually take over and kill Thanos.
It kind of just puts in perspective the sort of the player that Strange is, in the sense that he doesn't necessarily want to, but he has to put the entire universe through this just because he knows this is the only one outcome where they're going to be able to necessarily undo it. So back on Earth, Wakanda, Cap, Black Widow, and Falcon are all kind of meet the Black Order on this like the edge of this force field area.
The Wakanda tribes all lined up.
Yeah, they kind of give a whole thing about that the Black Order are like, we've got blood to spare or something.
Yeah,
But we should make before they get there. You see them heading out into the field to head to the border.
Yes,
and then that's where, from the part in the movie, the Hulkbuster armor bombing along the field is not actually Stark.
It's not Stark.
It's Banner.
Because he can't Hulk out.
It was spoiled by a Lego set ages ago, which still didn't ruin it in the movie for me at all. Like, I still thought it was fantastic, and all the lines that Banner has in it, he even like trips over in the field and stuff.
I'm okay.
But yeah, doesn't he even make some? Yeah, he makes some comment about like this is what it's like being the Hulk or something like that. Like he makes some comment about.
I think he mentions that this suit already beat the Hulk.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that when he's fighting?
Cull Obsidian.
Yeah. But yeah, so they go out. All the ships start opening up. Just hell starts raining down. These weird like dog.
Spider. They look like demi-dogs from Stranger Things a little bit.
To go back to your point of the mention that they've got blood to spill, they mention that where's Corvus? Don't mention his name, but he's like, where's your friend?
Yeah. And
everybody seems to think like the sort of play on the fact that
he was injured.
He's injured. He's dead.
Yeah.
Like he's no longer with them.
Yeah.
And then they just leave it at that. So they think they've already got the upper hand on them.
Yeah. These creatures try getting through the force field.
And they're just rabid as well. It's not like smart creatures. They're just there to kill.
Themselves through the force field to the point where they're being cut in half when they're getting parts of themselves through. But then some of them are able to actually like they're almost like worms where they keep going after they're through. They start kind of they're all pushing against the force field. It's this huge battle where they kind of start going around the outside of it. Was it at this point, or was it before, after when the weird digger ones start going underneath?
That's later on. But at this point, someone points out that if they don't let them in, they're going to start running around, and they'll get round where it's not protected and get into the city.
At which point, the Bifrost slams down with Thor in all his glory, along with Rocket and...
That's later.
Are you sure?
They're already starting to lose.
Well, then you've got it in the wrong place in here.
Well, I mustn't have moved it right then.
But no, like they figure out that they need to open up the gate. They open up the force field to let them in, otherwise they're going to get around the back. And then they start having the battle.
Yes.
So they do actually have a bit of a battle.
Of course they do, yeah. They open it up.
Then Thor slams down.
Yes. With the Bifrost comes down. Thor's there in all his glory.
That's not in the wrong place. Not important, but that's later on. They've already opened the portal. That's after that.
Oh, right.
Sorry. Got to be right.
But yes.
So yeah, Thor slams down with Rocket and Groot in tow.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this now: out of all the Avengers, Thor is OP. Like
he was already strong,
but he's already strong, and
now that he's harnessed his energy more and he knows what he can do.
When we rewatched Thor Ragnarok before going to see this, and while we were watching it, the scene on the bridge at the end of Thor Ragnarok when we've got the song playing in the background as he's attacking the bridge, and all the way through that I was just like, I want this moment in the movie. Like, I don't want them to like nerf him now, because he's now finally, in 3 movies in, Thor is like ridiculously powerful, and they gave that moment exactly like the fact that he just does that amazing like almost Neo style 360 thing where he goes up into the air and then just slams down.
Yeah,
it was he's completely OP, but justifiably so, because he's now like he's the king of what's left of Asgard, and
and there's this lovely reunion moment where he sees Cap and I think Cap's like, oh, you cut your hair, and Thor's like, oh, you copied my beard.
They're just utterly ruined, and there's a few other moments I can't remember exactly where they're sprinkled in, but there's stuff like Bucky picks up Rocket and he's spinning him around. Thor,
I feel like
Rocket's like, how much for the gun and how much for the arm?
One of the best lines Thor introduces Cap, he's just like, oh, this is my friend Tree, and he's just like, I am Groot, and he's like, I am Steve Rogers.
I feel like this battle, like, I'm sure that the Russo brothers came out and was like, there's a part in the movie where it's just as good as this airport scene, and I feel like this is
that
it.
battle.
Everyone working together.
But from there, the parts, was it you that mentioned the bits that come underneath?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we get the digger things that you see them tunnel through the jungle, and then they go down underneath the force field and pop up.
Yeah, I think Okoye and Black Widow are fighting together, and then these come up and it looks like it's all going wrong, and then
it keeps cutting to Scarlet Witch with Vision and Shuri, and then and Scarlet Witch is so on the edge, she's like she needs to get down there. At which point, these digger things are coming. There's the whole fight. Is it actually the fight with? Is it with anyone particular, or is it just with general?
I'm not sure if at that point it's with Proxima Midnight.
No,
Yeah,
not yet.
it's
I
not
think
with her.
They're just fighting
In general.
in general.
Yeah.
And then Scarlet Witch comes out of nowhere.
Because doesn't she lift one of the...
She picks up about
Yeah,
four wheels.
because in the order of power chart of Avengers, it goes Thor, then Scarlet Witch.
At
Yeah.
this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
she lifts one up and takes out about 300
She
of
picks
them.
them up and then just rolls over carries over the top of them and rolls onto the enemies.
Which rains down over Black Widow. Or just
Yes.
bits, because I think that's in Black Widow. It's just like, well, that was disgusting.
It's gross.
No, that's
Is that later as
that's
well?
later because
Yeah.
Okoye
There's
goes.
so much in this battle.
Okoye goes. Why the hell was she up there with him?
That was
Yeah,
it.
where
That
was she
her
for the
line
rest of
there.
the battle?
Where was she for the beginning of this?
Yeah.
But then that's when Scarlet Witch gets knocked out by Proxima Midnight.
Yes.
This is a cool lady fight.
Yeah.
Strong ladies.
They always say we have the trench fight with Proxima Midnight, where they're it's Okoye and Black Widow, because Okoye does this bad where she's like running with her spear and she goes up onto the side of the trench and like skirts around to get in behind. They're both just amazing fighters, and they both got to show it off, which was really cool.
Well, yeah, she's the leader of the Dora Milaje, isn't she?
Exactly.
So,
But
super fighter.
that's where, because it's Scarlet Witch, Proxima Midnight, Black Widow, and
Yeah.
Okoye.
Yeah.
And Proxima Midnight essentially gets thrown up into these grinders that are traveling
Yeah.
through the
Yes.
floor.
That's it.
And then that's when it all like comes down on Black Widow, and she's like, "Well, that was disgusting."
Yeah.
There's some lovely moment. I can't remember how it's delivered, but I'm sure it's something where Proxima Midnight confronts Scarlet Witch or something like that.
Oh, and she goes,
And Black
"You're
Widow
alone."
go alone. And yeah, Black Widow's like, she's not alone.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
There's also
Union.
Banner inside the Hulk armor is busy fighting Cull Obsidian as well. He's off kind of in a jungle bit.
And he's going, come on, Hulk.
Yeah, he's trying
He's
to...
going, no.
No, he keeps seeing his head gets bigger and he's just like,
So
no!
what do you mean, no? And he's saying all these things like, I know you like to leave it to the last minute. This is the last
Yeah.
second.
Well, it seems like he might actually, it's not going too well for him, but he manages to do a awesomely,
Amazing move.
also just disgusting trick of the fact when he manages to get to strap the Hulkbuster arm, which had been chopped off, onto Cull, sends him off essentially into the sky, and he just grinds his entire torso and face against the edge of the force field, which was beautiful and gross and amazing.
Explosion.
We come
Yeah,
back
it got
to
gory, but wouldn't have got away with this kind of gore if it wasn't aliens.
PG-13. I'm still surprised by this. But yeah, as you say, it's because it's aliens. It's not real blood.
Yeah, it was blue, wasn't it?
Yeah. We've also got then it cuts to the attack on the actual facility where Shuri's working on Vision.
Yes.
She's getting very close to actually getting it done, but Corvus manages to push in there.
Yeah, you get past
Sneaky.
the Dora Milaje.
Because this is the first point that we know that he's still actually alive.
He's
Yes,
fully
he
there.
sneaks in. It's sort of that moment of,
Yeah, he sneaks
Shuri's
in.
got her amazing panther gloves.
Yeah,
so
she
tries
whips those out and goes for it, but it's not enough.
No.
But then as soon as he goes for the bed where Vision's vanished, and Vision just takes him out the window. Which I can't remember who they end up. I think is that point when Cap and Wanda end up coming to the rescue sort of thing, and they end up fighting with Corvus. But then you see a spear come through Corvus from behind, and it ends up being Vision standing there, which I thought was
Vision
really cool.
is worse for wear though.
Oh, Vision is
he
totally
got stabbed
ruined.
at one point.
Yes, he did.
He's
Yeah,
sort of all over.
yeah, he's been stabbed.
Oh,
like
I didn't think of
3
that.
times
Did he
throughout
maybe
the
get
movie.
stabbed in the same place as Tony? Didn't they both get stabbed on the side?
Maybe.
I think actually to go back as well. I should
Did the
point
Black Order
out that
just go for that point?
Tony did use some kind of thing, sort of
He uses
staunch
polyfiller.
the flow a little bit.
He fills himself up with
You
polyfiller.
get that.
No,
like
there is.
emergency medical kits, it's the thing pretty much to fill a wound until you can get it seen out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's almost like a itself is just
It's
clot.
expanding phone.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's just a hygienic
it's
thing.
filling the role of the blood clot, but it does it a lot quicker.
That's not important though.
That's not important right now, but yeah, so it gets to the point where Vision. It's already been mentioned once before, I think, but Vision's basically pleading with Wanda. He's just like, you've got to destroy the stone. At this point, it's been cutting back and forth. Like we did it all in two different sections, but this was actually happening roughly at the same time. It was cutting back and forth between Titan
quick
and
cuts.
I think at this point, Scarlet Witch agrees to basically do it just as
Because everybody like assembles around Vision.
Yeah.
Everybody comes to that
Yes,
point.
comes to that point, which would have been the bit where you see them running, but we never actually got that. She's basically destroying the Mind Stone, which he knows is killing Vision at the same time.
This is it. That's
when
this is when
Thanos comes through.
I think Thanos already comes through.
Yes, I think it's just as she's about to start. I think him coming through, she's like, right, gotta do it.
Yeah.
He's charging, and everyone's coming to try and stop him, and he's just laying waste to them left and right. We get that beautiful moment from the trailer where Cap manages to grab the gauntlet and stop him, and you still get that moment of when he's just kind of like, what? But at the same time, he just kind of goes, other hand, and just knocks Steve aside.
It's kind of the opposite of the start of Age of Ultron, when they're all working together and it's showing all of their strengths,
it's
and
all
that they're working through these things. It's the amazing montage, but this time it's like everyone's getting fucked up by Thanos. No one can beat him, but Scarlet Witch.
Also, to go back to the whole point of the recutting of the trailer.
Yeah.
If you watch it, Thanos only has 2 stones.
Yeah, they adjusted those throughout. Because there was that one trailer where people kicked off because they showed... There was a shot, I think it was an Instagram trailer, because when you watched it on YouTube, you couldn't see it. It was the bottom of his hand was cut off. There was an Instagram trailer that showed a shot where he comes through a portal and he's got 4 stones. And people were like, oh, so we know he gets at least these stones at this point. And then literally as soon as the trailer went on YouTube, that part of his hand was cut off. He couldn't see it anymore. It was like someone messed up. But yeah, I mean, I think I saw it and I was kind of like, well, I feel like he's probably going to get all the stones. If he doesn't, it's going to be very disappointing that this is all set up for him to not get the stones.
I think going in, everybody knew he was going to get... Like, I know going in... I was just like, he's got to.
I did wonder how they divide it.
I predicted something that would happen, which we're about to get to at the end. But at the same time, I was like, I'm ready for them not to do that because that is the ballsiest move because they keep mentioning it in the trailer. If he snaps his fingers,
they make a whole point of it. It was mentioned
twice in the film, actually.
Yeah,
with the
and you can't just say he snaps his fingers. You got to do
his fingers.
Yeah, got to do it.
It's a part of the trailer as well.
Yeah.
Like. Gamora mentions it, and then in the trailer it just goes black and silent for a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's going in. Set it up.
We talked about it.
Yeah,
and I think yes, it would have been a ballsy move.
I was like,
I don't know how I would have felt about it if he had done what we're about to cover up to.
Yeah,
I think my mind would have been blown.
I'm out,
and I would have been like, I'm going to lock myself in a bunker.
Yeah,
so I can't. Nothing can happen to us until I see the second half of this movie.
But yeah, so basically, up to this point, it's been set up that if he snaps his fingers, that's the end of the universe.
Sorry, if you what?
Sorry, if he snaps his fingers, that's the end of the universe. But all the way along, you're kind of going like, well, he's not going to be able to do it. They're going to stop him. And
why did no one break his thumb?
I mean, that would have been a solution. They couldn't even take the gauntlet off him. But yeah, so everyone, he's laying waste to everyone left and right. Wanda destroys the Mind Stone and Vision explodes. You get this.
Before that point, sorry, that was an amazing thing. Again, showing how OP Wanda is. Because she had one arm out destroying the Soul Stone and the other arm holding Thanos back.
Yep.
And he's like properly trying to get all of these things with his gauntlet.
Yep.
And she's holding him back.
Yeah. She was massively up. But I mean, isn't she like a product of one of the stones?
Yeah.
So.
And obviously she must have been training because it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Something I did point out though, I tried to point out to you, but it was in a cinema and didn't want to take up too much time. When we first met Wanda, she used to do that thing when she'd mess with people's minds. Why has she never done that? Why didn't she do that with any of the Order? She used to be able to just go, and that was it.
Well, doesn't she need? No, she needs to touch them. I think.
No, she does it to Tony.
She just stood behind him and did this and all the stuff went easier. She just had to get close enough to someone to go,
That was it. When Tony goes to get the scepter in the beginning of Age of Ultron, she stood with Quicksilver, and Quicksilver's just like, he's going to go, and she's just like, no. And she just kind of goes, blue, and then Tony has that vision of...
Isn't it about, like, she needs to be, like, this close, isn't it?
Maybe it has to be a bit closer, but you can
she
still
used to
think...
be a lot sneakier, though. She could have done it.
Yeah. But no, basically, Vision explodes. So Vision's dead. Wanda kills him.
And the stone goes...
Yeah, the stone explodes. It's the end of that Infinity Stone. And I think he has a little line with... is it this point when he has the line, or does he immediately just...
No, I think he has a line. Like, you've got no idea how much I've lost today.
He refers to him as
child.
As his child, yeah. And then he literally just goes straight into Time Stone, like Doctor Strange style. Vision just gets put back together in an instant, and then he
pluck it out of his head.
He just reaches in like he's just like plucking a Cheerio out of the box,
but then also shatters his head and do it like
that was so the divot in his head, and the color just vanishes from Vision.
Previously, Vision had just gone, but now he's a body with like a. You can see like the
huge hole
mechanics in his head, and it's really
like the fibers that make him.
Yeah, and he just rips the stone out. Drops it in. Is it the point when You hear like the thunder crack as
you see like all the power stones surge through him because you see like the lines go through him.
And I couldn't remember because I think we had two different ways that. Is it that the axe or axe hammer gets thrown into him and then Thor like chases it up, or is it just that Thor takes it down into him? What?
Thor throws it.
I thought it was. I thought he threw it from the air.
He throws it from the air and then flies in.
And then like puts his hand on the back.
The like thing of with Thanos being like, I told you you would die for that.
Yes,
yeah.
he gives him that whole line.
I don't think we covered that. I think
into
it was
like Thanos' chest.
At the very start, I think it was after Loki was killed, he said, "You'll die for that."
Yeah. He did say that.
He's properly pushes it in. Thanos is obviously in a lot of pain.
You can see that it's doing
it's definitely doing some damage to him. And this weapon
just sinks in like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, it's cutting straight into him.
He just comes up and pushes it with so much ease, and he's just like...
And then Thanos drops that. Like everyone in the theater is just like, have they saved? Have they done this? Like, is this the end of it? And then he just goes, should have aimed for the head.
Yeah.
Snap, and just bright white for a moment.
I will admit,
I thought it was credits.
I thought it was credits.
That was my prediction, was that it would just be credits.
I always have my Fitbit on so I can check in the cinema because I can see the time without it being too bright. And I was like, it's 10 minutes left. Like, I mean, what's going to happen?
For what we got next, these coming moments, we may as well have had the credits roll and just accepted it. But
they could have done the credits then and done it as an extra.
They could have done
like a stinger. Being like, nobody knows what happens unless you stay, and it would be like a little nod to like hardcore fans that stay.
But we see,
or they could have just then slotted it into the beginning of the next movie. It could literally go from here to there into the next movie so easily.
Yeah. At which point, I think is it right there where it cuts to Thanos after it comes from the white. Thanos is inside like a orangey yellow room,
purpley sort of
and it's just a space, and then there's young Gamora's there, and she says like, was it like, did you do it?
Did you do it?
And what did it cost?
Yeah, she's like, at what cost? So then,
because this is the thing, the whole theory is that Gamora's still alive. She's inside the Soul Stone.
That would make sense.
And that's why he sees her.
Him.
Yeah, and maybe she's going to torment Thanos, sort of thing.
But from when he clicks his fingers,
yeah,
I don't know if it looked like the same to you. If like the stones are spent now, like if they all cracked.
It looked like the whole glove was gone. Like it looked like he burnt it.
So it looks like what it looked like to me is that the stones can't be used no more.
No.
Like that's the goal.
I think that was it though. That was his entire. He served the purpose he wanted. So I think that was all. That was the entire use of it. He didn't want this whole like. He doesn't want to be the most powerful god in the world. He literally wants to do this one thing. Because I think we skipped over this during the whole thing. But his planet, when they're on Titan, when they're having the fight and everything, he uses the reality stone to show them what it used to look like, and that he told them that it was becoming overpopulated. They needed to basically do
too many people, too little food.
Controlled genocide. To basically get rid of half the population, to basically save them. They called him mad and cast him out. He was ostracized, and then his planet was like, it's gone, like it's in ruins, and he basically wants to do that to the entire universe to basically save it.
Restore balance.
Yeah, restore balance. Which is what he did. So it's the whole thing of that he's going to kill half the population. Snaps his fingers. We get all that. I can't remember. Does he then go through? How does he get away at that point? Because we do see him again afterwards. Because the gauntlet looks all gone.
I think.
Does he use a time stone?
Just take him.
Does
he snaps his fingers,
right?
And then from there he gets sent to where he wants to go because he makes reference of like what he would do once it was all over.
Yeah.
And he's like, I would just watch the sunset from over the hills. And then that's where we'll see him after.
That's where at the very end. But before that bit, we see Bucky walking towards. The Cap comes over first,
and they're kind of like, Cap's like, what's happened? What happened?
What's happened? Thor is just like speechless. Like he's got no idea what's happened. Like Thor saw him click his finger, so he's like, he's got no idea what's going on, sort of thing. And that's when you hear Bucky going like, Steve, does he say like, I don't feel so good or something along?
I don't know if that's him or someone else, but I think he might just say Steve, so we turn and we see Bucky
as he essentially crumbles into ash or whatever. He just kind of floats away.
He like drops to the floor and like turns to what looks like bark.
It does. It looks like tree, like if you were burning a log or something, and it kind of just all goes away, and it's being like fluttering away by heat or something.
Yeah.
You see him go. You see Wanda, but Wanda, which was the sad thing that you really pointed out, she seems
She looks at peace.
Yeah.
Because she's just lost Vision twice. She's killed him and then had him brought back and killed him in her eyes. So she doesn't look, she just kind of looks
Everyone else looks kind of terrified at what's happening, but she seems really peaceful. Yeah, we can see people
sort of looking. There's a horrible moment when I think it was Okoye's lying down and T'Challa comes up and goes, no, this isn't a place to die. And then T'Challa
he reaches his hand out for her, and as she kind of grabs it, he goes, so that's Black Panther gone. I thought one of the more heartbreaking ones for me was Falcon lying in the bushes, and he goes, and you just see Rhodey going like, Sam, where you at? And it's like, oh no, like he's looking for his friend who's just turned into bark ash. And then Rocket is standing looking at Groot as Groot's looking kind of terrified as he's fading away. We
can't keep losing Groot.
We cut to Titan. Mantis is the first one to go.
I think she's the one who says, I don't feel good.
Yeah, she goes, I don't feel good, and she fades away. Drax follows. Star-Lord is very quick behind.
Well,
yeah, Star-Lord goes.
Kind of like, oh man, or something like that.
Yeah, he does something along those lines. We get the heartbreaking one.
This is the worst one.
When
it's all sad, but this is the worst.
Because they linger on it. Everyone else goes very quickly. They're like, oh, what's happening? And then they're gone.
I would say it's this lingers. One and Groot.
They're the two
Groot's
real
sad,
hit you.
But,
this one, when he's just like...
it's Peter.
When he keeps calling him Sir as well.
Yeah.
And it said Spider-Man.
He's starting to go.
He's starting to go, and he's just like, Sir,
I don't want to. I'm not ready.
And Tony's holding him in his arms and everything as he just turns to ash and he's gone. Which is the moment we saw in the trailer when Tony looks like he's
falling apart.
He's falling apart in the trailer. You see him like looking up and he's doing this. Which is because he's essentially holding on to Peter's ashes.
And then to add insult, Doctor Strange goes.
Yeah, and then Doctor Strange.
And as me and Ben realised today, that leaves Tony and Nebula on Titan.
Yeah, that's it. That's all that's left.
Just him and a grumpy robot lady.
Yeah.
And you think, how are they going to get back? Is Nebula even going to help? Do you think she's lost everything? Our sister's gone.
Well,
our father's got the Infinity Stones.
Besides the bits of dialogue amongst this, it is almost entirely silence through most of this as well. And so was the entire theatre.
I think the last 10 minutes I sat like this.
Yeah, and then we cut to Thanos basically just kind of sitting down to the sunrise, and he looks content, like he did what he wanted to do. Cut to black and a silent. No, was it actually full?
No, it was actually full on silent.
There was none of the gimmicky credits. It was literally
just credits,
white writing,
rolling white writing on the screen. Silence. No mid-credit scene.
And we had Marvel. Avengers Infinity War, and to make it worse, it floated away like ash.
Yes.
But then this is the only one called Infinity War, isn't it?
That was the thing. So originally it was going to be Infinity War Part 1 and 2, and then they said that they weren't good. They were filming them back to back, but they weren't going to be like two of the same film, even though it's clearly a two-parter.
It's a two-parter, but
I've seen a lot of negative reviews. Like the film isn't doing as hot as past ones on like Rotten Tomatoes and things, but the major criticism I'm seeing is people going into it expecting a complete experience and not getting it because it leaves you feeling empty. But I went into it knowing that. Like I went in going like, this is part 1.
You're not going to get closure.
It's
not going to finish. Nothing's going to be wrapped up.
It's like going into like Deathly Hallows Part 1 and expecting to have a complete experience. Exactly. You know there's
like one of the Lord of the Rings wrapped up in one film.
Exactly. Like you if you go in and watch the first one, you're not going to get the full story. But yeah, they said that the title of the next one isn't announced until after this film comes out because the title of the next one will be a spoiler.
Right.
So I feel like it's going to be something like Avengers Resurrection or something along those lines that would spoil just how many of them die because we lose like half the Avengers, if not more than half of the Avengers.
If we do a body count now from the start,
from the very start,
we've got to cut.
We've got one more bit, which we'll add to the body count. We do get a post credit. We don't get a mid credit scene, just one post credit scene on this.
And it starts in black as well. It's just the audio, because at first I was thinking, is it audio?
Yeah, I thought it was broken at first.
Something broken? I was like, we get a good like 10 seconds of just audio.
Just talking is in the car.
And you recognize the voice.
Oh, immediately it's like, oh, it's Maria Hill, it's Nick Fury, straight away, and they are on the streets of, they're on New York, and they're talking about the attack that's happened, they're going through that different stuff. And then a car ahead of them basically just like slammed, like it's a horrible car crash sort of thing. They pull up, Maria Hill gets out, the car's empty. Obviously, we immediately know what's going on.
No, my initial thought for that wasn't even that. It made us think of Black Panther. How Shuri had those cars when she could be in Wakanda driving. I was like, is it some sort of thing? Is she going to help? I didn't make the connection straight away that the people have disappeared.
Yeah, this is like the leftovers or like resurrection type. Not resurrection,
this is when you see it's the whole world. It's not just started at Wakanda. And it's everywhere.
It's not just superheroes, it's people.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not everyone. Just Earth, it's the whole universe.
Yeah, exactly. We're just seeing Earth, but this is everywhere. But yeah, so we see that happen. We see a helicopter just fall out of the sky and go straight into the side of a building. At which point,
I think they say code red.
Yeah, they go code red. With, there's an alert going on, sort of thing. Maria Hill she fades away and she's gone.
Yeah, I think she was going to make a call and then she starts fading. And it's that fear. That's the thing that's horrible is when people look scared. It's these brave people and they're terrified because no control.
We lose Maria Hill, which immediately sets the fear of God into Nick Fury, who he's shoving pedestrians out the way to get to the back of the car. He knows that there's only going to be one solution to this. He gets into the back of the car, gets out this weird looking retrofitted pager, which totally fits into what it's linking into. Starts dialing a thing on it. At which point he starts going when he lets Sam Jackson drop his line, but he gets cut off as he goes mother, and he's gone. The camera does that slow pan down onto the pager.
It's painful. It's going sending, and then dot, and you're like, shit.
And then you see,
please have good signal.
You see the emblem and the color come up as it's Captain Marvel's emblem set up there, which makes total sense since the Captain Marvel movie that's coming out at the start of next year is set in the 90s. Of course, the device he would have to contact her now would be some sort of weird retrofitted pager.
Honestly didn't know what that symbol was. I've never seen the Captain Marvel logo.
I assumed because I knew she was coming at some point.
I thought it was the other character that's been missing the whole movie.
Ant-Man, a Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
I thought he was going to be sending a message to Hawkeye, and I was like, what's Hawkeye going to do? I love Hawkeye, but I did wonder how he was going to make such a difference.
Yeah, but no, so that's Captain, because she's going to be the only one at this point to be able to save, stop Thanos. Or,
hopefully pick up Tony.
Thanos. Yeah, you'd hope so. She's going to give him a piggyback.
I don't think they had any supply. He hasn't even got his suit properly.
Yeah, I don't think his suit's fully attached. I think he would die in space now.
It's on Titan. There must be other ships that were parked properly, other than the one that they crashed. But
Nebula should know how to fly them as well.
But will she help?
Yeah, that's it. Nebula might just be like, I don't know you, bye.
No. So yeah, you want to do a body count.
So body count. So we're going from the very beginning.
From the top.
Heimdall, Loki.
Good and bad.
Yeah, just do good.
Just do good. There's enough good that we don't need the bad.
So basically, all the bad die. The whole of the Black Order.
Yeah.
Oh, they really do as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of a shame that they kill them off so easily.
Corvus Glaive doesn't die.
It was all...
No, Corvus dies, doesn't he? Because he gets stabbed through by Vision.
He
gets ran through by Vision.
Yeah, they all die.
Yeah, so they're all dead.
The one thing I would say, at least they were killed because they were outsmarted. It wasn't a case of just, we're strong enough to kill these aliens, because they wouldn't have been. They were crazy strong. It was that they outsmarted them.
That's very true.
And worked together. It's all about teamwork. Do you want me to start looking through that as we're doing the body count?
You can do. So I'm going to pass this over to you. So yeah, we said at the start, if anyone has any questions or their opinion on the movie or anything like that, we're going to do we've been saving chat to do at the end. So if you just tab here, that yes, Caryan's going to check chat stuff now.
It's quiet.
It's quiet.
Very quiet.
That's all right. Well, we are talking about a movie that literally just came out in the UK and comes out in the US tonight for the US. But yeah, if any of you want to talk about it, you can do now. If you're an audio listener, Caryan will make a point of reading out any questions or points. But yeah, so body count. So we've got Heimdall. We've got Loki. That was right at the beginning.
Then from there it goes Gamora.
Is she the next one to go?
She's the next one to go because no one else dies.
Oh, one thing that we didn't mention. It was referenced. No, you did mention it.
What?
That the place where the Power Stone was clearly got decimated.
Yes.
So we're going to assume that we've lost Nova Prime, who's Glenn Close, and John C. Reilly and his family, who they worked so hard to protect.
So yeah, so we lost Gamora. We lost. She's the first, that's the next casualty in that sense.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the next casualty from there. Then does it go into...
I think it's just literally in... Oh, the Vision would be the next one then, I guess.
No, because Vision goes with everybody else.
No, Vision gets the top of his head ripped off by Thanos before the dust starts going.
Oh, yeah.
So he's the last one before that. At which point we lose...
Bucky.
Yep. We're going to do an order. So we've got Bucky. We've got... Scarlet Witch. We've got Falcon. T'Challa.
I think T'Challa might have been the second one, actually.
Might have been, yeah.
T'Challa, then Groot.
Then we cut to Titan.
Mantis.
Drax.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
Spider-Man.
Peter.
Spider-Man.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor
What are they going
Strange.
to tell on me?
Is that the last of the main ones?
That's the last of the main ones.
And then
and
we've
then the
still got
post-credit
Maria
of
Hill.
Maria Hill and Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson. So we have 16
You mean
casualties.
Nick Fury?
Nick Fury, yes. We've got 16 casualties in this movie.
That's awful. But they're going to have to resolve it. They can't lose that many.
One of the interesting ones is that all of the not all, but the majority of the remaining ones are all OG Avengers. It's like Iron Man still alive, Thor still alive, Cap still alive. They're all the original ones, the ones whose contracts have actually ran out after the next movie. So I wonder if they're going to sacrifice themselves in some sense to be able to get back all the new Avengers.
Maybe.
So we're ready for chat?
Yeah, totally.
So quite early on, and I think they've actually gone now, Shazomatic asked what we rate the new Avengers movie. This is very early.
That's okay.
What do I rate it?
I think we're ready to do it
I really
now.
enjoyed it.
What are we rating?
It was totally
are we doing
different.
Are we doing a ABC? You know, like are we doing like a grade, or are we doing like out of 100, or out of 10? Out of 10 is probably easier.
Out of 10.
Out of 10?
We won't rank it. That's a whole other thing because that would take ages.
That literally would take another whole stream.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say... now, I very rarely give things 10 out of 10 because I always think there's room for improvement. Not in a bad way. I just think that everything can always improve. But I think I'm going to give it an 8 because as much as I utterly adore it, I don't know if it's the... See, I would go back and watch Civil War on regular occasion because of how fun it is. I mean, it's got some dark bits, but it's fun. There's amazing action. It's fun. I don't know if I'm going to go back and watch this one time after time after time because I know I'm just going to feel maybe after the next one comes out, I'll change that. It'll go up to a 9, but right now I'm going to give it an 8. It was a very well made movie considering that they had like 24 characters to cover. More than that, actually. 15 of them died. 16 of them died.
I think it was just Marvel culling paychecks.
Probably like 30, yeah, right.
You all paid too much. No, because Tony Stark should be killed instantly.
So yeah, I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. But I feel like I could adjust that after the next movie, either up or down.
I'm trying to think in terms of it related to other things.
Yeah.
So for me, like the top ones would be like Civil War, Winter Soldier, maybe Guardians 1.
Yeah.
Maybe Spider-Man, Thor, Ragnarok.
Yep.
Because I really, really love those.
Yep.
I think it's maybe... it's definitely above Age of Ultron.
Oh, yeah.
It's maybe on par with Avengers.
Really? You still rate Avengers that high?
I really like Avengers.
I did, but
it was really nice. It was...
It just hasn't aged as well because of what we've got now is the only downside for me. Like when I go back and watch Avengers now, it's like it's fun, but compared to Civil War, it's not got anything.
I guess you have a different kind of fondness, don't you?
Yeah.
I think maybe an 8 as well. Because I really, really liked it. I wish I could give it more, but until I get closure,
yeah, that's what
I
it
can't.
is.
If it doesn't end the way I like it, it's going to sour the taste.
For me, I think I enjoyed it as much, if not more, on my first viewing than Civil War.
Mm-hmm. I think
yeah, I need more. Like I feel like it's maybe on multiple viewings I'll change my opinion on that. But right now I feel like that's where I'm sitting.
Yeah, all of it was good. The way they did it was good, but there's something just... I think it's only because I'm left with so sad, basically, that I lost all these characters that I love so much, and that they haven't been able to fix it. That I can't give it more because I'm not happy with that. I can't watch this film and feel good at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's heavy going, and it's amazing. I want to see it again. I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Yes.
But I could never just watch that and go, yeah.
Yeah, if you sat me down with the list of the Avengers movies and went, what fun one do you want to watch right now? I'd be like, yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
I'd have to be in the mood for it.
Yeah, that's it. It's or if I was going to do a marathon and watch this and its sequel. Anyway.
Oh, absolutely. I think when I've got the sequel, yeah, totally. But right now, I can't commit to it because it's too tough.
So 8 out of 10 is still
it's really hurt.
It's still a very high rank.
Yeah, I can't rank it as high as the ones that I really love.
See, I would go one above.
You're gonna go 9.
I'm gonna go 9.
That is
what's it on par
high
with?
praise.
Before this, Thor Ragnarok was my favorite one.
Yeah,
like
that. Very good.
That was the best Marvel movie. But this is just the way that they've done all the jumps between all the different locations so smoothly.
It's very well done.
Not to get confused or the plot to be watered down. Like, do you say you can't go back and watch this? I would happily sit and watch this. Like
for fun.
I would put this on just as like
I would
a movie
put
to watch.
sequences of this on, but I feel like, I don't know.
I think it's filled with enough seriousness and enough comedy that I could go back and watch it again.
I think I may raise
very easily.
I think I may raise it after maybe another viewing.
Yeah, I need to take it in a bit more.
But right now,
yesterday was just like, wow. I think you said yourself that you had to stop eating nachos and popcorn. We're in gallery, so we've got all the unlimited snacks.
I stopped eating stuff after about half an hour of the movie because I was like, I'm gonna miss bits of the movie. So I'm more interested in watching the film than eating.
And eating your popcorn.
Well, no, because you're eating something like cheesy nachos and stuff. I'm just like, I'm gonna end up with it all in my beard or something if I'm not paying attention. If I'm just sitting doing this, so I was like, no, I'm gonna focus on the film, and I was more than happy to.
So Shazamatic also asked any guesses of what will happen next.
Ooh, well, as we said, Strange is definitely, this is his plan, regardless of whether he's dead.
Because he knew what was going to happen, so
this is Strange's plan we're going into.
Yeah, that's what my thought is. This is Strange saw the only one outcome where they win, and this is it. They have to give away, they have to lose to then gain.
How are they going to do
it? I've seen behind the scenes pictures, but you never know what to believe because there was a lot of stuff in this movie where there was actors given fake scripts. Though apparently Paul Bettany spent like 3 days rehearsing, like on set with other actors, and then he got to the day of shooting, and they were like, "No, that was a fake script. We were just making sure that you couldn't leak it or anything." And it was like they were literally paying these actors to film fake stuff. So yeah, I've seen photos on set of stuff like Ant-Man with like weird trackers on his hands, with Captain America wearing his original Cap outfit.
Because that was the theory, that it was so Captain's original outfit.
But that's for the next movie. Yeah, so that was, so people are like, is that going to be flashbacks, or they're actually going to have to travel through time and try and change enough things to overcorrect this future?
But how do they travel through time?
Without the time stone?
We still have Ant-Man and the Wasp next.
That's true.
Who is the only other character in the MCU besides Doctor Strange who has so far had the ability to travel into different universes, namely the microverse?
Very true.
So for all we know,
we're going to get. We think we're getting Janet Van Dyne back.
For all we know, she spent enough time in there. She has the ability to go through time inside the micro. I feel like they're very smart about which films come out when.
I would love to see the Marvel storyboard of what links up where and how big it actually is.
It's going to look like one of those murder boards from TV with all the red strings everywhere.
No, I don't think it's possible because it's just all Kevin Feige's brain. Like it would be just unraveling it like noodles. Like it was
like a clown scarf.
Yes, it would just keep pulling on it and it just keeps coming out.
More.
Yeah, I think.
See, I don't know enough about Captain Marvel. How she could have an impact on it.
She is like insane. I mean, she was given the name like she's Captain Marvel because of the alien that kind of he was a captain and his name was Marvel, like MAR-EL, but then people always refer to him as Captain Marvel because they misheard, and then she got given that title. It's kind of like Green Lantern style storyline where she gets like she's an Air Force pilot and stuff. At least I think that's it. But yeah, she's like insanely strong. Like she would be able to go toe to toe with Thanos. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see with that. I think they're very smart about which order they release these films, in the sense that like Ragnarok came out at the perfect time to set this up. Black Panther came out at the perfect time to set up. Like they've all set up the next thing.
Like Infinity War. Well, like we say Infinity War. Let's say Infinity War version 2. It comes out next year, doesn't it?
It comes out next year.
I'm so glad it's only a year.
The two films we're seeing before it are Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel.
And then it hits.
Both of those have to play into it.
Yeah, and then we get the second part of Infinity War, and then within like a month, isn't it? That's Spider-Man. Because they've come out and said, whatever happens in the next part, Spider-Man is the next stepping stone for the next phase.
Apparently, at that point of the next Spider-Man, they're doing away with phases.
What?
Apparently, they're not going to do phases anymore. It's just going to be one continuous story, like just one big thing. Because apparently they've got so many parts moving now, it's difficult to keep them contained in the different phases. So they're wanting to kind of open it up a bit.
That could make or break them.
It could. Well, I guess we'll see. But regardless, they've managed to make like 20 movies and I think they're up to like something obscene, like $10 billion worth of income. So
that was the last question.
That was the last question.
Shazamatic said that it was the first time he saw Hulk get his ass whooped.
Yes.
His or her. Alex Ritchie is here. He helpfully listed who survived for us. So we've got Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Bruce Banner, Black Widow, War Machine, Rocket, Nebula, Okoye, and M'Baku.
A lot of that is
the OG.
So they're
all the big characters that have survived.
Christ.
So it's the OGs.
Then apart from that, Ant-Man still
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Ant-Man.
Because he's on
Hawkeye.
he was on house arrest.
Although Ben did point out earlier, how do we know they haven't dissolved?
Yeah, I said that should have been the mid-credits scene, just to break everybody's heart who loves Hawkeye, is to have... I mean, I love Hawkeye. Is to have him at his farm and kind of just enter the farm. He's been chopping some wood, just to see Lorna fade away to ash. That would have just broken everybody's heart.
It would give him a reason to come back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be it would make him become the character that it's hinted at that he's going to become. Yeah, there was literally all they said was he's on house arrest and Scott's on house arrest, which we know from the trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp that he starts on house arrest. I'm curious where it's going to play, and I assume Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to take place before the events of Infinity War, because otherwise that's going to be a very different film to take place in, where it's this apocalyptic world where half the populace has died.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Something that got me, this isn't really, but it's sort of relevant. I don't know the science of this. I read a book years ago that was basically a portion of the world was going to get exploded, and because of that, the world was going to spin out of orbit because the mass was different. Did they
have to tunnel to the center to put it back on axis?
It was, what one was it? I think it was Temple by Matthew Riley.
Okay.
It was definitely Matthew Riley. But anyway, if you suddenly lost half of the world's mass with population, would that not affect the mass? And would the gravity not go all squiffy? Because you're losing a huge amount of weight.
I feel like we're like ants on the surface of the moon.
True.
But at the same time, no, I get the moon. Yeah, we're on the surface of the moon.
Ants on the moon.
But no, I get what you mean though. Like
something would
half
happen,
of the
surely.
populace. Yeah, if you're, I feel like something would maybe shift with it. If it all happened at once, although it didn't really happen at once, it happened like
within a minute.
I'd say within 5-10 minutes.
5-10 minutes, because we saw like the helicopter come down, and then Maria Hill went, and then Nick Fury went after having enough time.
The helicopter could have been flying very high though.
It could have been way up there. And then it came out.
Someone was playing GTA.
But it still was enough time for them to stop their car, go see that the car in front had already vanished, and so I feel like it's happening over the space of maybe like 10 minutes or so.
So
yeah, my God.
A little bit of housekeeping. We've got follows.
We got a follow?
So we got Shazomatic. Thanks for the follow.
Thank you very much for the follow.
Yes.
That is awesome.
For the questions as well. So anyone who has enjoyed it, give a follow. I'll leave it at you actually because you're.
Oh, we're going to run the outro.
Should we quickly verdict
on what on the film?
Mm-hmm. Now that we've discussed.
Loved it.
Really enjoyed it.
Looking forward to seeing it again.
Yep.
Yeah, need to see it again. Cannot wait for the next installment.
Oh my God, yeah. And this next two, I'm so sad that we get the next one in, I want to say it's June or July, which is Ant-Man, and then we don't get anything until I think it's February. We get Captain Marvel, and then I want to say Infinity War Part 2 or whatever they end up calling it. I hope we're going to get an announcement around the time of Ant-Man.
I think Ant-Man's enough time to wait to see that everybody's seen.
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Because that's the whole thing. They've got to wait and know that everybody's seen it. And considering that the pre-sales on this movie in America had beaten like the past,
all of them.
It was
combined?
something. I think it was
like
since,
all the smaller movies combined,
including big ones. I think it was like Black Panther, which was a massive one, plus Thor Ragnarok, plus Civil War, plus Ant-Man, plus Doctor Strange. But it was another one as well, and all of those combined is how much tickets were sold for Infinity War. Which is obscene, and amazing, and well deserved, because it feels like it was a massive project. Do you have anything else to add?
We do have another question.
We have another question before we wrap up, everybody.
Alex asks, do we think Ant-Man will be set before or after Infinity War?
I think before. If
it's
before,
too big, it would have to be involved with this.
They could potentially do a mid or post credit scene in Ant-Man that takes place similar to the Maria Hill Nick Fury one, so we could start seeing Ant-Man losing people.
I guess, nobody contacted Ant-Man to be like, come help us.
Well, he's on house arrest, so I feel like I reckon it's going to be set before, but by the end of the film it'll come up in line, because then it'll be ready for him to go into action, to go and help, probably with any new skills or people, like for example the Wasp, that he can now use to help save the world.
And Alex did, thankfully, thank you for this, point out that if half the population did disappear, nothing much would happen, but the air quality would improve. So technically, Thanos is right; it would improve everything.
Well, that was his whole thing, is that we would have more water and food and better air.
What Alex is saying, that he wants Thanos to come and.
Are you a Thanos sympathizer?
Thanos sympathizer.
So yeah, I think that's it. We'll not check chat again, but we will be back tomorrow.
We will be back tomorrow. I'm going to be here tomorrow.
More GTA for you, isn't it?
It is more GTA for me. Anyone that is listening to this in their, I did a fun symbol with my hand there for anyone that's listening. Anyone that's listening to this in their ear holes, if you're out in your car or driving your tractor, be sure to head over to twitch.tv/SnatchyBuckles. Click follow, means you'll get notifications when we go live. You can check out the video.
Faces.
That's it. You can see the video version. This is the very first one, so it's been very kind of learning it as we go. Hopefully the audio quality is okay. The VOD will be available on Twitch, and I'll be uploading it onto YouTube on Saturday if you didn't catch this, or if you just haven't seen Infinity War yet.
Come back to it.
Come back to it. Thank you very much to everyone who has listened to this very first podcast or hung out with us on Twitch. Again, thank you to the followers and subscribers. You are the people that make this possible.
Going forward, we're wanting to do this more
regularly, not necessarily reactionary, more broad. Just talking about
still do like
game
special
news
ones when
and
we've
movies.
just watched a new film.
Exactly. But yes, overall it'll be just a more general, broad podcast, which could be good fun. But yeah, so I'm going to knock in the outro music now, which will kind of play us out, as it always does, anyone that's familiar with this. Again, thank you very, very much to everyone who has listened to the podcast.
Thank you.
I've been Ben.
I'm Caryan.
And I've been Adam.
And we will catch you in the next podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.